Now I have control of myself. Boy, when you start on that, it's like laughing in church. It's silly, it's stupid. My next guest is a very talented actor and comedian. You've seen in television, lots of movies. He's become a good friend of ours. Would you welcome Martin Short? Martin. All right. You're hyper, aren't you? You're hyper.
What do you mean? Like, if I were a kid, it would be too much to have in a carpool type thing?
You got it. You got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. You know, but I think that this show brings it out. I, for example, had the most attractive leg. No, I had the most attractive shoes prepared, and I forgot them, so it's kind of a mischievous look, really.
You know, guys in New York, you know, who vice president go down, you'll see them when they're going down New York with a briefcase and a three-piece, you know, and wearing sneakers.
Yeah, I know, but to me, it's like trying to be Woody, you know?
Yeah.
Woody 68.
Wear sneakers with a tuxedo.
Yeah, which is a great look, and I'd love to be Woody, 68 or 78.
Yeah. All right, who'd you have in the Super Bowl? Did you watch it at all? Up until when?
No, I glanced at it. I wasn't really that into it. No, you know, because I'm in mainly this whole American football business. I don't, you know, to me it's kind of a watered-down Canadian football league, which I follow, you see.
Isn't the field different length in Canada? Wider
in Canada,
or something?
we have some arbitrary differences. It's a 55 yards each way.
Right.
It's 110, and we only have 8 teams. 4 in the West, 4 in the East, and 2 are called Rough Riders. It's absolutely true. So you can actually be watching the TV and hear a guy saying, Rough Riders 21, Rough Riders 8. And somehow, it's true, it's the strangest thing. And somehow Canadians know who you're talking about.
Which Rough Riders
I can't believe that. So the Rough Riders are winning, eh? Too badly for the Rough Riders. Too bad, eh?
They don't say Rough Riders West or it's just Rough Riders 8 and Rough Riders 21.
No, it's Saskatchewan Rough Riders and the other Rough Riders. 8 teams, keep in mind. They could have, even I admit, a Canadian, that they could have gone a little bit nuttier with thinking of more, you know, it's cold.
A Canadian.
A Canadian.
Canadian. That's right, you are from Canada.
Yeah.
Congratulations. The Ace Awards, you're special.
I won an Ace Award, which was the Academy...
That's very good, isn't it? You want to thank the little people there behind the scenes?
Yes, well, I told you how I'd won an Ace Award. I wasn't there, but I just would have gone, oh, baby. No, an Ace Award is for the Academy of Cable Everything. I don't know what the E is, but I got it for writing for this show.
Yeah.
But I must tell you that in the end of the special...
That's the one going to Hollywood, right?
Yeah, Martin Short Goes Hollywood.
Goes Hollywood.
And it was the most desperate attempt to get an award, because at the very end, I, as myself, walk into my living room, and I hear, hey, Marty! And I look to the mantle over my fireplace, and there is me, dressed as an Ace Award, but playing it as Jerry Lewis for no real reason. And I sing to myself going, someday I'll be on your mantle, someday, someday they'll call my name, oh boy! And I thought, how can they not give it to me? I am actually dressing up as an Ace saying, please. So they did, and God bless them for it.
Okay, let me get this out of the way, and we'll be right back here. Someday. Okay.
Yes.
I'm so easy for you.
It's like a candy store place.
You're going into your Katharine Hepburn now, right?
No, not really.
Hello, Ed.
Hello.
How the heck are you,
I'm
darling?
fine, Catherine.
You look wonderful.
Thank you.
I love what you've done with your puff. And your name?
Yes, Johnny. Your name. You do, most comedians start, doing that when they're in school, making sound effects usually, or impressions. Yeah. Because you don't have any material to go from, when you start. Yeah. Right? So you start doing sound effects and voices. You're good at it. Are most of the voices outside the celebrity impressions come from people you know, the other characters?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes, I always found that growing up as a kid, there was... I lived in a very kind of eclectic street, and you never really knew the kind of people... There was a woman who lived down the street she had 9 kids, but she never left her seat. And she just mothered. She's one of the... You could pass her house, and she'd hear, Randy, get down here! Stop that banging, young man! and you went over, I knew one of her sons, and she just sat there in this thing, and she smoked, she had cigarettes in the coffee mug, and she always had a big Slurpee. And okay, every 3 minutes she'd say, she loved John Kennedy. And she'd always be saying, well, he was what they call a working-aholic. That is the, brain freeze! And she'd get a brain, this is bad this time. Stephanie, what are you wearing that crinoline for? You're in trouble, young lady. Randy, shut up, I'm talking to But Kennedy was, and you just kind of say, and this is she never left her chair, all the kids, you know, raised, beautiful, and so maybe that was enough.
Yeah. Now you've got, what, 3?
Yeah.
3 children.
Yeah, 3.
Now you're kind of a child, well, all comedians are childlike.
Yeah.
Now,
But you're about to say I'm more childlike.
I was going to say, you are more childlike than most comedians. I mean, you just...
Yeah.
How do your children relate to this?
I don't know. I'm trying desperately.
Have they seen your stuff when they watch television? Are they too young to really...
No, they like some of it. Some of it, my daughter once said, I have problems with that. And I said, thanks, bye. But I'm trying to create, I've always been trying to create a comedy dynasty.
You want this to...
Yeah, because not since the Wins, really. And barely, I don't know if you can count the Wins. But
well, I'm up to 6.
No, yeah. But if you go from, so I'm trying to teach them impersonations. I've taught my son Oliver Hunt's Hall, you know, which is
Hunt's Hall now. Yeah, you don't see many people do Oliver Hunt's Hall anymore.
Yeah, if you just teach little impersonations and go, boy, Chief, am I excited. Then he does this walk. Oh, boy, Chief. Oh. He does that, you know.
And the kids say, that's Daddy.
Yeah.
That's Daddy.
Catherine, I've taught her Elizabeth Taylor. She has that down pat.
Elizabeth
Taylor.
Words.
Hold me.
I've been so lonely. Now, you can't take this on the road anywhere. I'm not, in no way do I suggest, but, you know, then it's, you know, I can be at home and I can say, Catherine, do Liz for Mr. Zemeckis, you know, and if friends are over or whatever.
Did you ever do, now, you're basically a comedy actor, but did you ever do straight stand-up in clubs?
No. Oh, God. No.
Go out in one and do 45 minutes or an hour or so?
No, I did it once. I had this you know, to me it's the hardest thing in the world because my orientation is Second City.
Right.
And
ensemble playing more.
Yeah, and that's you're doing a scene, you can respond off someone, and that makes sense. To do a stand-up, I think it's enormously brilliant. I did it once. A friend of mine, this girl, Carol Pope, she had a punk rock and roll group called...
And you opened for them?
Yeah.
Well, you see, that's Hear Death.
Yeah, and I didn't know, and I was very naive. It was Carol Pope and Rough Trade. And that was the band. Oh, yeah. Rough Trade, you say. And anyway, she, don't I know your drummer? No, so... Anyway, she said, hey, why don't you open for us Saturday night? We're opening at the Edge. I said, oh, that's no problem. Of course, I have no act. Oh, I'll just jot some things down, you know, because it's so easy. And I thought...
Talk to the audience or something.
Right, yeah, and no one... It was 76, no one knew me. I saw myself as kind of the... I said, you know, maybe I'll be the thinking man's Mort Saul. And I'll write kind of, you know... I didn't want so much laughter from the audience, but I wanted people to be able to turn to each other at one point and say, exactly.
Yes,
you know,
he's so knowing.
Yeah,
yes.
He's so knowing.
And that's what you got, huh?
You know what? I bet he's read Camus. So, this was the most frightening. It's the kind of experience that even today I'll be sleeping and I'll go, no! And I'll just fold up from bed. The audience was just after, they'd been let in at 7:30.
Well, first of all, they're there. We used to have years ago, and I don't know whether the kid is still working. He used to open for rock groups, you know, and travel. And he says the audience was ready to kill him because as soon as he walked on the stage, they were there. He'd like to open for the Beatles or something.
Yeah.
And they'd be screaming at him as soon as, get off the stage. We don't want to see you.
Yeah.
You stink. You're lousy.
Yeah.
And then he opened for those.
No, that's what they were like. Ah, boo, we hate you, boo. And I hadn't even left the house yet. This is
and that's your own family.
Why the hell am I? Wow. So anyway, I walked on the stage, and really it was just boo, and, you know, 2 girls had Rough Trade carved in their arm, you know, which to me is switchblade humor, but it was a statement for them. And, you know, one woman was dressed as kind of like in a Betty Davis hairdo, saying, get off the stage, Bob. And people, boom, there was a guy going, bah. And truthfully, bah. And they were just kind of looking at me, and they're just screaming, and I didn't say a word. I was just stunned. I was standing like this, and I don't know why. I think I had this, you know, today I'd go, good night, and leave, you know. But then I had kind of this Duke Wayne thing, and I thought I'd just, you know...
Rough it out.
Rough it out.
Yeah.
So, you know, I started, you know, I opened up with kind of a political cabaret piece that I thought, you know, what's a nice country like you doing in a state like this? And, of course... And a guy...
And they're sitting there like watching a fly on a screen door.
Screaming, vicious. And a guy came up and threw a beer right in my face. And I think that even the audience was shocked because, I mean, a good half stopped chanting.
Oh, and you never did it again, right?
No. Well, it was funny because Carol came backstage and said, "I'm so sorry. Oh, tomorrow night it's going to be so different." And I said, "Yes." Because I'm going to be home seeing Mike Connors eat up the scenery in Mannix. You know, I'm not doing that.
We'll take a break. We're coming right back. Right here to our show.
Okay, my next guest was a regular on the SCTV late-night comedy series a few years back. He's starring in a new movie called Boris and Natasha, which comes out sometime this summer, and will soon have his own comedy series on another network, CBS. The Dave Thomas Comedy Hour. Thank you. Dave Thomas Comedy Show, excuse me. Please welcome Dave Thomas. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Good. You know?
He does.
Exercising, losing some weight, you know?
Does the best Bob Hope. When you do Bob Hope, you know, that's why I like you when you would do SCTV, you guys would always do impressions or just skits about things no one else does. And do the Bob Hope kills me.
Well, he's got two voices, you know. Oh, there's a couple of people that remember the show. Thanks, folks. He's got two voices, you know. He's got the high voice that he uses for the girls, like Joey Heatherton, yeah. Lonnie Anderson right here, yeah. And then he's got that low voice that he uses for bigwigs, you know, like, yeah, I was over in Scotland at St. Andrews Golf Course, you know, doing 9 holes with Maggie Thatcher, you know. No, that Iron Lady can really, she can smack a ball, you know. Then the ex-president was there, you know, Gerald Ford, he was over there, you know. I did the back 9 with him. You know you're golfing with the ex-president when the trees move down the fairway faster than the golf carts. But I tell you, I love him, though, you know.
He's seen you do this?
Oh, yeah, I kind of tracked him down like Simon Wiesenthal to force him to watch my impersonations of him. And I caught him in a dressing room in Toronto, and he looked at it, and boy, that's wild, that's wild. You know, you got that voice down. Rich Little, he tried it. He can't do it, you know. That's marvelous.
How about... Anybody new you've been working on?
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by Jack Palance. There's a...
Jack Palance?
Yeah, he's just... It's sort of a... It comes from breathing. When he did that show, believe it or not, my wife thought I was nuts because I would be sitting there riveted by it, you know, and she'd go, "What are you watching this? Watch, this is great," you know. He'd go, "The tiny dik-dik antelope of Kenya, smallest member of the horse family, can be held in the palm of your hands. Believe it or not." I mean, then he pops up in Baghdad Cafe and then in Batman, you know, geez, and he's like real light on his feet, too. He's really like a dancer, really. I'm a dancer. Anyway, yeah.
Now, you're from Canada, right?
Yeah.
Grew up in Canada?
Yeah. Oh, so those are the people. All right. Yeah. Thanks for coming, folks. That's my family.
Well, whereabouts? What part of Canada?
From Toronto, and... Well, don't make it too obvious, okay? Be a little subtle. And, but then we grew up in North Carolina. My dad was studying at Duke, you know? What, nobody from Durham, North Carolina here? It was tobacco country back then. There were 4 big cigarette factories right in the middle of town. And the big deal was, if you went on the tour, you'd get a free carton of cigarettes. And so they were giving them to kids, too. Back then, the Surgeon General was a 4-pack a day man, you know, and he was... I got them. I got cigarettes, you know. Didn't smoke them, of course, but I got them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, don't want to be impolite. Really? They would give kids cartons?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, assuming, and here's one for you, son. You give them to your daddy, now don't you smoke them yourself. And then we'd go to England to visit my relatives. So it was sort of like a bizarre thing for a little kid. Okay, you're going to North Carolina. Now you're going to England, you know. And we go over there, and the food over there was so bizarre, you know. And we'd have relatives that go, "What's the matter, son? Are you sick? Don't you like your big pork pie and bangers, then?" You know? A big greasy pork pie cold, you know. Yeah, I'm gonna dig into that, boy. Eat him first.
Did you ever have bubble and squeak? You
No,
know what that is?
no,
Oh,
I
that's,
didn't.
it's boiled. See, my mother's from Scotland, so.
So's mine. Get away.
Hey, I don't believe you, mother.
That's the weirdest coincidence of all.
And it was the worst food. Lovely people, but they would you like a Coca-Cola, Jimmy? They called me Jimmy. And it'd be warm.
Oh yeah, I
It'd
know.
be
And their
warm.
milk is warm too. Which is,
Would you like a stale biscuit? I mean, they tell you right out it's stale.
yeah.
But it's not really stale. It's just stale.
Did you notice when they came here, they'd keep their watches on their time, you know? So it'd be like 6 o'clock, they'd be eating, and they'd be going, "Oh, you know, what is it? Well, it may be 6 for you, but it's 11 o'clock for me right now." It's like, a month into the trip, you know, they're still on their own time. And then they're up clunking around at 4 in the morning, and you're going, "Hey, what are you doing up?" "Well, it may be 4 a.m. for you, but my time, I'm going to work right now, I'll tell you that."
Yeah. How about you have kids, right?
Yeah. I got a boy 6 and a girl 2. The girl's kind of going through the Reagan, the Exorcist stage, you know, where she can levitate her bed and spin her head around 360 degrees. And my son's going through puberty, which is weird. I took him to the Santa Monica Mall last Christmas, and we were walking into the mall. He's 6, and well, he was 5 then. And this a really attractive girl walks by, and he goes, "Dad, is she beautiful or what?" I said, "Yeah, she is." He said, "Come on, let's follow her." I said, "Well, what are we going to do when we find her?" He said, "Well, I kiss her, of course. First you, then me."
And how old is this boy?
He's 6. I figure, another year of puberty, and then he'll be out, get a job when he's 8, you know. Be out of the house when he's 9.
Now, I guess puberty has changed since I was a boy. Wasn't puberty like 11 or 12?
Yeah.
How about 19?
Yeah, I remember that.
When you get that nice voice, like you're walking around like you're Ed Wynn for about 4 years. A little mustache. "Hi, how are you? Nice to see you." It's a horror for boys.
That
But
little-
6? How could he be going through
The
puberty at
mustache
6?
with pimples around it, that's the one I
I looked like some felon when I was like, said my high school yearbook picture is like in the post office, like, "Hi."
Yeah.
You're all glands then, too, just running around screaming.
But 6? How can 6
Whereas
be...
girls go through that later, right? Don't they?
No, girls are first, then guys. How can you somebody going
I
through
wouldn't
puberty at
know.
6? Isn't 6 a little young? I mean, is he shaving and everything?
No, he's not, but he seems to have all the other stuff in perspective, you know. I don't know, it's really weird. First he got interested in horror films and then women, so maybe there's a correlation between the two. Okay, all right.
Send your letters to... It's now left me and Billy. It's on to you. You got it now.
Hi, folks.
Now, when they watch you on TV and you're doing it, do they recognize you under a character, or when you do the wig and all that?
Yeah, they do. There's this guy that's making it tough for me, the guy that owns Wendy's restaurants, Dave Thomas,
Oh, yeah.
I was in a hotel room, I forget, doing something, and I backed the TV, and "Hi, I'm Dave Thomas," and I turned around, and there's this fat guy, this old fat guy. He can't use my name, I was in the union before him. I want him to change his name, So I wrote him a letter, and I said, you could get the real Dave Thomas a lot cheaper than that fat guy you're using.
Well, that's a good way to get him over on your side.
Yeah, I didn't hear back,
Yeah.
I'm looking for that account soon, that big Wendy's account.
Well, tell me about the movie, Boris and Natasha. Is this based on the cartoon?
Yeah,
from
this
the
is
Bullwinkle?
a live action of the animated film, and Sally Kellerman is Natasha, and they picked me for Boris.
Well, that sounds neat.
Yeah, they dyed my hair black and made me grow a mustache and dye that black, and then gave her 5-inch pumps and set us loose.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Looks like a funny movie?
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Charlie Martin Smith directed it, and he's a He's a tough guy. He did this thing, Cry of the Wolf, you know, and...
Oh, that's when he was running naked through the snow or whatever it was?
I mean, so you couldn't complain to this guy because he was nude in the Arctic, you know? So I'm lying on an L.A. street at 4 in the morning saying, this street smells bad. He gave me no sympathy, you know?
That's terrific. And your own show is coming on?
Coming on that other network. Yeah, they put one on, and they got a new head of programming over there, the amazing Kreskin. And he's... So I'm not sure when the planets are aligned properly, the next one's going to be on, but, you know, sometime in the summer, folks.
Sometime in the summer. Well, we shall watch for that. Dave Thomas, be right back after this.
Stick around, we're not going to pay the band.
What?
No, it's a joke. Relax, will you? What the hell's the matter with you guys? Our first guest tonight is, of course, an alumnus of the legendary SCTV company. He is the star of various motion pictures and his own television specials. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to this program our old friend, Martin Short.
Okay. Let me just say one thing to David. You know, I was driving here in my cab, and it dawned on me.
You wait a minute. You were driving the cab?
It's a tradition. I like to pick up a few people on the way here.
Gosh, all right.
The whole limousine thing. I say, and if I get a tip, I know it's going to be a good show. So anyway, it dawned on me.
Right.
This is my 13th appearance, and I realize that you and I have never hugged publicly.
But never, wait a minute. Never hugged, period.
I know.
Public. Hugged at all. All right, well. Okay, let's just go ahead.
No.
Are you? Okay, sorry.
So let this be the start of something big, can we?
All right, sure. Nice to be home.
Nice to be home. You know, Dave, let me just say something to you.
Yeah, whatever you want.
And it touches me so. I don't want you to be... I know that I was not your first choice as guest tonight.
That's not true.
No, I do know that's true, but it doesn't bother me because Scott Baio is such a different type.
No, you have always been. For tonight's show, we said to ourselves, let's try... God, if we could only be lucky enough to secure a booking with Martin Short, we'd be in heaven.
No, I'm kidding. No, but you look great tonight. This is a whole tie thing. No, it's good.
No, it is a tie. I wouldn't describe it as a whole tie thing.
No. No, it's good. There's a whole Adrian Zamid quality because it blends. No, it is.
No, you're just nuts. That's
No,
all.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, because it's the kind. You kind of gone kooky with the tie.
I haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just a tie, and I notice you don't have one, by the way.
Yeah. Well, it's the whole David Lynch thing that I'm getting into.
You know, Dana Ashbrook. Now, have you been watching the Twin Peaks show?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, would you describe it as a good old-fashioned creep-out?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've never seen it.
You know, you and Paul have been friends for how long?
Paul and I have been friends for 20 fabulous years.
Supposed to be me.
Yeah.
That's me.
You guys started together. I know we go through this every time. You started together in Canada in little. You'd get on a truck and drive from town to town and do little shows.
A Godspell we did.
Yeah.
With a wonderful cast, and it was an experience of love and caring and feeling and good.
Yeah. And you have remained friends all these years.
Yes, we have.
And you have other friends that you're close with.
Eugene Levy and Dave Thomas. We were kind of a triumvirate plus one.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the old days. And
Paul used to always say, back in the old days.
Yeah.
Because I know what you're getting to. Of course, his voice was higher then, a little bit faster. He'd say, wouldn't it be great if we went to Vegas someday? Yeah. Fabulous. It would be a fresh kick. Yeah. Oh. Then, of course, as he's getting older,
Yeah.
It's getting more slower.
But the nice thing about all of this is you guys I guess about a month ago now.
No,
right?
it was just a week and a half ago.
A week and a half ago.
We went to
okay.
Vegas.
Yeah. Who's on this trip?
Eugene Levy, Dave Thomas, Paul Schaefer, Mr. Martin Shortwright Chair. We checked into Caesar's Palace.
Now this was just kind of a goofball weekend.
Goofball weekend, 4 guys.
Yeah.
And we checked into Caesar's and we just pretended to be the Rat Pack.
Okay. Shall we show this photo right here?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Now tell us about the photo and the surrounding magic that must have been in the air.
This is Eugene Levy.
Right
here. This is a fabulous gal that I had a crush on the whole darn weekend, Miss Phyllis McGuire.
All right.
That is Wayne Newton. That's a very cute little girl named Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Dave Thomas, Paul Schaefer, and myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you had gone, obviously, to see Wayne Newton there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've got to. You've got to. And it was a fabulous show, absolutely. As you've seen Wayne.
No, only on the show here. He was on the show once.
And
were you guys introduced from the showroom floor?
Yeah, well, it was great because we first of all, immediately we said that we took the identities of the Rat Pack. I was Francis Albert Sinatra.
Right.
And I'd be just one, weatherwise, such a kook who just ding-dong. Eugene was...
I mean, you did this in public? You were walking around doing that, or...?
Oh, yeah, and you wouldn't want to make a fool of yourself in Vegas because there's so many good-looking people there. No, but wait a second. Someone's been to that town with the homely stick, and you know it. No, I mean, listen, not everyone's homely there.
No.
Or frightening to look at.
No.
But...
I've been there, and I find it to be, I think, a fair representation, a cross-section of fine American people.
Fine American chubby people.
Hey!
No, well, there was one woman who was sitting on three stools. She was in front of the slot machine, and it was huge.
Yeah.
You know, she was covering 3. And so I went to the 4th, and she said, "That's mine too, sir." And so I went to the 5th. "That's mine as well."
So she could, if she needed to, cover 5 stools.
Her reach was broader than her ass, I'll tell you that right now. You know.
Anyway,
but we went,
you had a great time.
We went, and Eugene was Dean Martin. Paul was Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah.
And Dave Thomas, because he was last person in the room, was Cesar Romero.
The last person in the room gets to be Cesar Romero?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know that old game.
Yeah, I guess
So we went and we saw...
It's an old Canadian game.
It's an old Canadian game. And I'll tell you, it will make you hurry.
I would guess so. There was no scouting in Canada, so you had to play games like that.
You had to.
We'll do a commercial and continue here with the young, the personable... You're in town here. Tell the folks why you came to New York, in addition to being on the big telecast here.
I'm doing Night of 100 Stars. Night of 100 Stars 3.
And what will you be doing? First of all, what is the concept of this show?
It's really getting a lot of people together, and it's I'm not that sure, except that it's a charity benefit for the
Actors Home.
Actors Home and for AIDS.
Yeah. Oh, they've expanded it.
Yeah, it's Actors with AIDS.
Yeah. So, and the show is like 3 hours long?
1 million celebrities. They say it's 100 stars, but
it could be more. Probably more.
Well, if you count Tova Borgnine, that's 101. I mean, it's just a lot of people. Catherine Hepburn is there.
She'll be there.
Catherine is there.
Yeah. Now, have you met Catherine before?
I met her years ago at the theater, but I didn't go up to her this time. She just seemed so damn busy. She had things to do. But I just had a feeling that if I went up to her, she'd say, "Could you get me a black with sugar, please, darling?"
Yeah, well, that would be all right, sure. Yeah. And other big stars that you met over there?
Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, man, so this...
You didn't know I could do Jimmy Stewart, did you?
Almost,
you're still not sure,
Almost
right?
everybody can do a little Jimmy Stewart.
That's yours.
Harvey here, and that's all I can do. Did you tell me a story one time about meeting Bob Hope?
Yes.
I was thinking somebody else.
No, I did.
Yeah. Well, now, what was that like? That must have been exciting for you.
Well, it was exciting, and he was, it was very exciting, and he was nice to me. He actually knew who I was. He kind of said to me, yeah, I saw you in that film with Nolte. That was wild. And so I was so excited about it. I was so that, you know, we just stood there. There was a silence there, and I said, Melissa Manchester was there, and I said, I can't believe it, it's Bob Hope. Yeah. And I gave him a low hug, like that, real low. And I felt him kind of stiffen.
He's nearly 90.
Yeah. And no.
Oh, please.
No. And I just don't think you hug a legendary 90-year-old low like that.
I don't know.
I mean, I think there are certain things, just rules.
Yeah.
House rules.
Did you sneak up behind him?
No, it was like.
You should have let him see you coming.
It was like Sammy with Nixon a little bit. Real low. But I think it was too low because I kept thinking he was taller.
Yeah. Well, you might have frightened him a little bit.
Yeah.
There.
Terrified him.
And again, I think this is great. Congratulations. I believe you have another child.
Another child.
This now you have a family of 3 kids.
3. Henry.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Young Henry. Yeah. Gee, I don't know who I looked like. It was kind of frightening. Yes, young Henry. Henry was a tricky name, I found, because whether it was that...
Hank? Well, people
Hank,
call him
then
Hank?
He gets Hunk. And then it's suddenly you're doing Wizard of Oz. Gee, Dorothy, we got to get you away from the witch. I mean, that was Hunk, you know.
Whatever, I don't know.
No. Okay. And Ronnie, we were going to call him Ronnie, but the problem is you know someone named Ronnie, and of course Ronnie, it's obviously who that comes to mind.
Yeah, sure.
Liebman, but you don't want to name someone after Ron Liebman.
How old is the youngster now?
He's 8 months old.
8 months old?
Yeah.
So your house must just be nuts because all your kids are young.
Yeah.
That's a stupid thing to say. No, some are about your age, others are younger.
No, they're 5, 3, and 8 months. Yeah. And it was frightening at Christmas time. He was 4 months old because it was 4 months ago.
Yeah.
You see. And 2 days before Christmas, my wife, Nancy, pulled her back and literally could not move. Just could not move at all.
Somebody hugged her low.
I hugged her way low. Yeah. So anyway.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So she was bedridden.
Yeah.
And couldn't move at all. Yeah. And so I now had to take care of the 3 kids.
You're in charge of the holiday.
In charge of the holiday. And I was trying to be very up about it, you know, running around. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's exciting. It's Christmas. Oh, I wonder if he'll come. Oh, you know, basically doing Ed Grimley for dude. Oh, it's very decent, the Christmas song. You know, and I wanted Nancy to feel that. Thank you. You know, I get so tired celebrating the characters that dwell within me.
Well,
so anyway,
if you don't, who will? Thank you.
So anyway, I was running around, and meanwhile getting no sleep because the baby would be up all night. But then, after an hour's sleep, I'd come in and say, "Hi, honey, he didn't wake up. Are you feeling better?" And I'd play with the kids. And on Christmas Eve, I was setting up the toys for Santa, and I went upstairs. Oliver was crying, and I just laid down with him for a second and fell asleep. And at 7 in the morning, I heard birds chirping, and now nothing was set up.
Oh, man.
The ultimate nightmare. And it was just like, no! I set up like that. And then Catherine came running into the room crying. He didn't come! All your threats were true. He actually didn't come. And I said, oh, no, he did. And I came running down the stairs thinking, frantic. She's right. Oh, he's nothing. I said, look. And in the corner, there were things unwrapped. And I said, so I explained to her that I had heard noise. And I'd sneaked down and seen Santa Claus. And I scared him. He went up and we wrestled together.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. And then I told her that, we were wrestling. And suddenly we were wrestling and wrestling. The fire was going. There was a Persian rug. And Santa Claus said, why do we need all these clothes? So we wrestled nude. A woman in love reference. Is there nothing about a literary women in love wrestling nude?
Telling his kids that he was wrestling Santa nude.
well. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Spock. Some people just don't go by the book.
You're going to hell. There's no getting around it. Listen, have a good time over there. Give my best to Hildy and Alexander. Yeah. All right. Martin Short. We'll be right back.
Okay, we're back. Okay, Dave Thomas is here tonight. Dave Thomas is a very talented actor and comedian, and he got started on the great show a few years ago, Second City Television. And he's got his own show now that's starting airing on Monday nights on another network. It's called The Dave Thomas Show. Good thinking. Would you welcome Dave Thomas? You know, I must say, the old SCTV shows were some of the best stuff that was ever done.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were
incredible
fun.
sketches, a great cast. I mean, good stuff.
I brought some of the crew with me there.
You know, it's too bad that they didn't have the show on earlier. You know,
Yeah.
you put it on late, and they never really give you a shot at that thing sinking in.
Well, you think 12:30 to 2 is too late?
Oh boy, we started to do something in the makeup room.
Yeah.
You did a sketch once with Bob Hope being in China, putting together a show with his writers. And you
Yeah.
have that angular look, and you've got the voice. Hope is not easy to do.
Yeah, I know. I showed this hope to Bobby, you know, and he said, "Boy, you got that voice down, kid, you know, I'll tell you, you know. You don't look like me, but you got that thing down." Oh. That's wild, boy, I tell you. There's something I can't do, though, with my Bob Hope impersonation that I'd love to do on TV, because I keep trying to think of new ways of doing it, you know, but I can't do, like, Bob Dice Hope, you know, like... Yeah, so I was beating up my girlfriend the other day, you know, and I looked down at her, she's naked and crying. I said, "What do you want? I let you in the house, didn't I?"
Yeah. You're right here.
Yeah, right here, Bob Dice Hope, folks, yeah. And then those little rhymes that Andrew Dice Clay does, you know. Jack Sprat could eat no fat, but he could eat this, yeah.
Yeah. He's one of
Don't look at me like that. I'm following this guy.
Who was on that show? You had Candy, you had...
Yeah. Rick Moranis, Eugene Levy, Joe Flaherty, Catherine O'Hara, Harold Ramis.
Yeah, they went on to do great. They went on to do other things.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many years did you do that show?
I did it 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years.
Yeah. You have a
6
family,
years.
don't you? 6 years, yeah.
Yeah, 6 years. I got 2 kids. I got a girl, 2. She's in the terrible twos now. She's like Reagan from The Exorcist. You know, she can levitate her bed and spin her head right around. And I got a little 6-year-old boy, and he's kind of an odd kid. He'll do anything to prolong his bedtime, you know, like he knows that, you know, if you, like most kids ask questions at bedtime, he knows the harder the question, the longer he can prolong it. I'll go for the light, and he'll go, "Dad, is heaven past space?" I'll go, John, to tell you the truth, son, I don't know. Dad, what is truth? You know? Okay, all right. And he does other stuff, too. Like, he's got kind of a dark side, and he loves horror films. And he got into the Nightmare on Elm stuff at 6, you know? I mean, you try to protect him from it, but they can see it on cable. So he took his sister's doll, the lovable little Teddy Ruxpin, and dressed him up as Freddie Ruxpin.
Oh, this is what that was. I could not...
See?
Look at this.
God. And he'll come to my bed and he'll say, "Dad, don't fall asleep, because if you do, Freddie will come into your dreams and kill you." Oh, Freddie Ruxpin, yeah.
Kids seem to be able to, for some reason, I guess, separate the real from the unreal.
Oh, sure, yeah. The day that he first saw me on television, I'll never forget. He looked at the TV, he looked at me, looked back at the TV, had it. Just had it like that, you know? Yeah.
Now, how were your parents? Are any of them... your dad was a philosophy teacher?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, my dad was a philosopher. Boy, that's a, you know, strange thing to tell your friends. You know, what's your dad do? He's a philosopher, you know? I knew about Descartes and Plato, but I couldn't work the latch on my lunchbox, you know?
Nietzsche was a close friend, right?
A little kid, I'd ask my friends, "Can you help me with my latch?" And they'd go, "We would if we were really here."
Existentialist?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And my mother's a church organist, and she's Scottish, and she cooks food just like the Scottish people, you know? She'll take a few steaks out of the fridge in the morning and put them in the oven so they're nice and ready for dinner, you know? Her idea of a steak is to cook it down into kind of a wallet, you know? Like make it into kind of a billfold of beef, you know? Roast beef is like moccasin with gravy on it, you know?
Don't they have a stuff called haggis? Is that a Scottish
steak?
steak?
Haggis, yeah. That's too horrible to even describe, you know?
Well, do you know what haggis is?
Sure.
Isn't it a sheep's intestine filled with...
A sheep's stomach. They take the stomach of a sheep, and they put in vegetables, and then they put in potatoes, and they put in herbs and spices.
That sounds good so far.
And chopped other parts, and if they don't like it, the chef. They put him in with it.
What are you doing when you're not working? What are your hobbies? We don't know each other that well.
I don't exercise, you know, I mean...
You're not into that?
No, my thing on exercise is what's in it for me. I mean, you gotta offer me more than my life to get me on a Stairmaster grunting away for 2 hours. I sort of view my body as a way of getting my head from one place to another, you know?
Too much emphasis.
Yeah, I mean, that Pritikin guy, I mean, you know, he jogged and he ate oat bran and then he had a heart attack. I mean, I can get the same effect sitting on the couch eating potato chips.
Don't have to go out and run around down San Vicente.
No, I go nuts when I'm not working. I'll get bored and I'll do things like write letters to the president about small things like, "Dear Mr. President, I could have sworn I saw you at the gas station last Friday. If that was you, would you please take time out of your busy schedule? And I got $2 riding on this. It's really important for you to write back and let me know, you know?" Yeah. Right. Letter to the president. Yeah, some of those kids don't work.
That's crazy stuff, yeah.
He calls them kids, you know, sometimes as jokes, Bobby. Yeah, that kid didn't work too good, you know. Like having a kid that didn't turn out too good. Yeah, that kid didn't turn out too good. I waited 16 years for that kid, you know. It didn't turn out good.
That's beautiful right here, yeah. Are you working any other different impressions? You have a good ear for voices, and a good eye for people.
Yeah.
I think I was right. Got it mixed up. I had my organs mixed up. Something that's happened to me many times. Well, I meant you have a good ear for voices, not a good eye for voices.
I do Michael Caine, you know?
Michael Caine?
Yes. I saw Michael Caine on an interview being ripped apart by a mean reviewer, and he said, "You've done some bad movies. You did The Hand, you did Jaws 3, and Michael Caine said, "Hey, look, I'm just an actor. I didn't write them. I'm not a director, you know? If you want to go out and write a good movie, I'll be in your movie. So off you got in. Go write your movie, you know? Go write your little movie. I'll be in it then. Go on. Go on." He said,
"You did it for the money. You're the money."
He said, "Look, any bloke that can make it believable that a shark would chase a woman, namely Sid Sheinberg's wife, all the way from New England to Nassau, because that's a bloody Oscar, that bloke."
And how that shark got from there down to the Bahamas, never did figure out. You do offbeat people, don't you?
Yeah. I look for a sort of offbeat. I'm working on Max von Sydow now. I did him on the show.
Max von Sydow. You don't hear many people doing him anymore.
No, he's dropped out of
Max von Sydow.
Yeah. Well, I got him as the kind of barber, a Bergman barber, you know, instead of the kind of Norman Rockwell barber. Hot enough for you, or see the game last night? He is. So, I've been thinking a lot about death lately. I had this recurring dream, you know, that I'm in an airplane, and for some reason the pilot decides to deploy the ground spoilers at 35,000 feet, and the plane goes into a steep dive, and everyone is screaming and crying, and, you know, next thing I know, I'm out of my body, looking at myself, sitting bolt upright in a farmer's field in an airline chair, charred and black. And as an FAA inspector passes, my head falls off into my lap with a soft black hoof, and he screams. So, do you have dreams, my friend?
That's marvelous. And you say for your philosophy didn't pay off, huh? We'll be back. Stay where you are. Thanks for coming. That's funny stuff.
Right here.
Confidence in the brand of excellence, the household appliances that bear the name GE.
Well, isn't that cute? I kind of like that. It's very nice. Very peppy. Our next guest is an alumni of SCTV, and her most recent films include the summer blockbuster Dick Tracy, and, of course, the upcoming Christmas blockbuster Home Alone. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Catherine O'Hara once again. Man, you look great.
Thank you.
Haven't seen you in quite a while. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Having a nice summer?
Yes, I am. A lovely summer.
Good for you. Tell me about this Dick Tracy thing.
Did you see me in it?
Well, no, I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were in the film.
I know. I was an extra.
Really?
Yeah, basically.
Why, how did that happen?
I got asked to do it, and I was told it was a great role. It was Texie Garcia, the queen of the hookers, and I'd be in this boardroom with Al Pacino and all these great actors, so I went.
Yeah.
And I worked as an extra for 3 days with a big nose and a net. And And then I left on the 4th day because I had another job. So they brought another extra to play my extra part after I left.
But did they intend for you to be an extra, or were you more crucial to the story?
No, I think he filled the movie with a lot of better actors than I playing small roles. So I think it was just, it was like spot the actor.
Yeah, but I'm sorry I didn't see you. You were only in the one scene?
There was a boardroom scene with Al Pacino trying to unite all the...
Yeah, I remember that scene, sure.
Well, there was one woman at the table.
That was you?
Yeah, I had a big nose and...
Yeah, good for you.
But it was fun hanging around Mr. B.
Well, now, what was Warren Beatty like? Was he good? Had you ever worked with him before as a director or an actor?
No, I met him once, but that was about it. But I went to do looping for Dick Tracy for the line that ended up getting cut. No, I guess that was... No, there was some background stuff when there was when James Caan got blown up outside.
So you had to go add some audio.
Yeah. And I brought my best friend Robin Duke, the wonderful actress Robin Duke.
Yes. Who was on Saturday Night Live for a while.
That's right, yeah, and SCTV, and she was doing Second City in California before it closed. And she really wanted to meet him because she made a bet in junior high with another girl that she would marry him.
Wow.
And the other girl bet. So now here was a chance to actually meet him.
How did she do? Did she marry him? Was she married to him for a while?
They're married now. Have you not heard? Oh, don't tell Madonna. It's so sad.
Oh, I didn't hear. Well, that's great.
No, we did go. And the producer, we were waiting around so long, and so I asked the producer if we could go in the control room and watch them do the looping until I did mine. And Robin couldn't have been like more excited that she was going to be around. Yeah. Mr. B, I mean. I didn't say who it was.
Well, you can say who it was. I think we know that he directed it.
The director.
Yeah, right.
Who shall remain nameless.
Well, yeah. You hardly see his name anywhere in the credits.
That's right. So as we came into the control room, he said hi to us, and he said, somebody smells good. He goes, oh, Catherine, you smell good.
Oh, brother. Women fall for this? It's 1990 and they're falling for that? My, you smell good. Boom, there you go.
It works. He looks at you like he has never seen a woman before in his life. It's like, he goes to speak to you, he loses his breath. It's just like, never have I seen. And he did this to Robbie. He looked at Robin like that, but he said, Catherine, you smell good. Doesn't Catherine smell good? Well, gee, I don't think it's me, but sure. And then later, he was doing his looping, we were just watching. Later he said, gee, Catherine, you really do smell good. What is that? And I said, I don't think it's me. I think it must be Robin. He goes, is that you, Robin? And he came walking towards, and Robin was against the wall, but in a sitting position, like down, like you're sitting. But so he came over and he said, oh, is that you? He basically sat on her leg and smelled her neck, and Robin turned into... It works, doesn't it?
Brings new meaning to the term looping, I think, doesn't it? Well, that's pathetic that a guy has to be that...
Loved it. Well, of course... She said, she turned into Margaret Dumont from the Marx Brothers. And, what's that? The most she could come up was, well, now I am flustered. And then on the way home, she said, I didn't thank him enough. I didn't thank him enough. He was so gracious. He knew I was there to meet him.
Now, do you suppose in any time, in any circumstance, somebody does not want him sitting on their lap? Or is that like just a green light for this guy? It's Warren Beatty. He can sit on anyone's lap he wants.
That's true. I said if it was anybody else, you'd have him arrested, Robin. You want to go back and thank him some more?
Yeah. If that happens on a bus in New York, no.
Unless it's him.
Unless it is. You see Warren Beatty on many buses.
No, he was doing it to be... He was
doing
knowing
it to be cute. He was being that. Well, that's good that you both got a big kick out of it. So how's your summer going?
We did.
Are you traveling? Are you living in Canada? How are you spending your summer? What are you doing?
I actually went back in June for my mom and dad's 50th wedding anniversary.
Great.
Yeah, all my siblings went and all their spouses and
big
all
family
their
then? A lot of folks?
Yeah, it was wonderful. Yeah. I got accosted 3 times in Toronto, though.
Toronto's a great city.
That makes you say that, doesn't
it? Well,
it?
I just want to hear the nature of the accostings.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, one time there was my sister Mary Margaret and I on the street. We'd gone to a restaurant to eat.
What does she smell like? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so somebody comes up to you on the street.
I don't believe I did that with it. I'm sorry. It was most un-Mary-like.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
So there was one sort of I hope he wasn't homeless. God bless him. He's just kind of a... No, he wasn't. I'm sure he had a big house somewhere, but he was just an angry man. No, this was an angry man. And we were sort of window shopping late at night, not shopping, and he came walking, and usually you can kind of laugh at someone, you know, or say hi, or, oh, having a bad day, you know, whatever. Yeah. So we looked at him like, oh, what's going on there? And he went, you want to fight? Do you want to fight? And we kind of laughed, and then he came after us, and then we tried to get by, and then he came after us some more, so then we ran, screaming and running. Yeah. And he chased after us, you want to fight, you want to fight, you fight. He cornered us in front of the Squeeze Club, owned by my brothers Marcus and Michael, which is true, but they weren't there. He got us against the wall, and he really went after Mary Mark, because she's smaller than me, my sister Mary Mark. And he's like, he'd bring his hand back and then go like this, as close as her, you know, this to her face, and then he brought his leg back and went to kick her, you know, but never did. Nobody came out of the restaurant until finally some like girl this high came out and said, what are you doing to them?
Yeah, all right.
And he left.
He left. Went back to his comfortable home in the suburbs.
The next day, I wake up to the phone ringing. I say, hello. Yeah, I'm here making love to my dog, Linda.
No. You didn't get this call. Really? Oh,
I'm making love to my dog, Linda.
Oh, no.
And they said...
Very, very near the end of civilization. Very... And this is Toronto.
A young guy, that's very sad.
Toronto, one of the greatest cities in the world.
Well, my mother said, to explain it so that, to take the heat off of Toronto, she said the reason is that the reason people are attracted to you girls is because it's no wonder, look at you, you dress like freaks.
And that's it for Mom. Well, there you go. I hope you learned a little something.
How'd the guy on the phone know what I look like?
Let's see. Home Alone, out for Christmas, the big Christmas release.
Yeah.
I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to talk about that. Who else is in it? You and whom else?
John Hurd and Joe Pesci, and John Candy plays a cameo role.
Oh, that'd be good.
And Macaulay, and I'm sorry, Macaulay, I forget his last name, and he's a big star. He was in Uncle Buck, the boy from Uncle Buck. He's great. He's the star of it, actually.
Great. And for the holidays. Good to see you, Catherine. Thank you very much. Have a good summer. Catherine O'Hara, kids. We'll be right back. Well, that looked pretty good, didn't it? Hello, Meg. Hi, it's me. So now, see, would this have been so bad?
No, it wouldn't have. Yeah. I made a bad choice.
No. Now, don't punish yourself, for heaven's sakes, but it's still fun, don't you think?
It's very fun.
Does Tara seem to be enjoying this?
Yeah, I think she's
Could I speak with her, please?
I beg your pardon?
Could I speak with her, please?
Sure, hang on.
Hello, Tara.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Everything all right over there?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. You know, Meg was telling us some wonderful things about you and the work you're doing over there.
Really?
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, you know, just what a wonderful co-worker you are and how dedicated you are and friendly and personable and...
She was not.
Well, frankly, we're all very impressed over here.
Oh, yeah?
All right, well, good luck with the hair thing, all right?
Thanks.
All right, we'll talk with you later.
Okay.
All right, bye. It's Tara, Paul. Did you see Tara?
What?
Yeah. Can I put this on hold? Is there a time limit on that? Never heard of such a thing. If you don't place that call the split second you pick up the receiver, you're done.
Done. That's it.
Life's getting tougher than it used to be. I remember when I was in the Cub Scouts, it wasn't this hard.
Simple, then.
Our first guest is a very funny man whose recent films include Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and, of course, the popular Parenthood. His latest film, in which he co-stars with Steve Martin, is called My Blue Heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Rick Moranis. Rick! What's the matter?
You could have done like the theme from Ghostbusters, maybe Suddenly Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors.
Maybe
that great jazz classic, Honey. I Shrunk the Kids. But no, what is that?
Honey, I Miss You.
Oh.
Honey, I
Is that the old Bobby Gold
Honey, I
girl?
Shrunk You.
I was listening for like the theme from Hockey Night in Canada or something like that.
Well, you know, next time.
How you doing?
What a coincidence, because, you know, there's Twin Towers at the World Trade Center, and I was down there to buy postcards. But you got off lucky because we plummeted 90 stories.
Oh, my God.
And then when the power came back on, we went up another 90. My hat.
See, I blacked out. I don't know what happened. Yeah, the doors flew open. There it was on the 8th floor.
See, I enjoyed it.
Oh, how you doing?
I'm all right. I've been horseback riding a lot, so, you know, don't mind me.
All right, explain why you've been horseback riding.
Well, Bruno Kirby was on the show the other day, right? Bruno Kirby, Billy Crystal, and I are starting a picture in a couple of weeks that involves a lot of horseback riding. So I've been
Explain the picture. The film.
Well, it's not out for a year, so...
Yeah, but this, I think this is one of those good ideas where it's a bunch of guys...
It's a bunch of guys that grow up together, and it's 3 guys that grow up together, close friends, and I guess they take crazy vacations together. One year they're whitewater rafting, another year they're doing... Picture opens with them running from the bulls in Spain. Right. And then halfway through the picture, they go on a cattle drive, so we have to be cowboys. So I had to get ready to do this. Anyway, all my hopes of doing one of those classic Mel Gibson butt shots in a movie, forget it. I can't. I will never be able to do that. I'll never be the same back there. They'll have to change the designation. No one will be admitted without 2 years of medical school. So no one will be admitted unless C. Everett Koop is with them.
So the butt shot was one of your hopes.
Oh,
then.
yeah. I wanted to do one of those, but not now. Excuse me, I'm shifting around here. No, it's fun, though. It's fun.
So you're keeping very busy then this summer preparing for that film, and then also you got other things.
I'm used to wearing spurs because the wife and I just all the time. The wife, I sound like Rickles, because the wife and I.
But you're also out working on this film, the...
Yeah, Steve and I did a picture last year called My Blue Heaven that's coming out on Friday.
Right. Yeah.
And there you are.
And are you traveling a lot to promote this film?
Well, no, I was traveling a lot to promote Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. In February and March, I went to London because it opened in Europe, and then I went to Japan.
Right.
Where curiously...
Was it a big hit everywhere, this film?
Yeah, it did business everywhere. I guess it appealed to kids everywhere. And it was funny because the posters were funny everywhere. Lieblein, Ich, whatever to the kids, and Karina, Ichuchu. But in Japan, it was called Micro Kids. Yeah. Because there's no term of affection from a man to a woman. There was no way of saying, honey, I shrunk the kids.
In the Japanese language or culture.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, it would have been called, hey, slave, guess what I did to the, you know.
That's no good.
So they called it Micro Kids. And there was no way of calling parenthood calling it parenthood. So it was called The People in the Buckman Family or something like that. There was no abstract, there was no way of saying in the abstract the condition of parenthood.
The name of the film, The People in the Buckman Family?
That's what it was called, yeah. And I had an interpreter while I was in Tokyo, and that was, you know, interesting to work with an interpreter. And all these people would come in and speak in Japanese, and then it would be translated to me, and I found myself, like, you talk long distance, you're yelling to somebody this close. And then one woman came in and said, I don't need interpreter. So my interpreter said, okay, fine. She left, and first question was, we talk about micro kids, but first want to ask you about parent food.
Oh, the Buckman family.
The people in the... the food, the Buckman family.
But was it a big hit in Japan, this film?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I left before it opened, but it was fun. I had a good time.
And will there be another one of these?
They're talking about it. They've got a lot of possibilities for different shows. But
and the film My Blue Heaven, let's talk about that. Did you bring a clip or anything?
No, I decided rather than...
Let me do a commercial, then we'll take a look at the clip or whatever you have there. Okay, we'll be right back here with Rick Moranis. And some of Little Feat, and Rick Moranis is here.
I used to play, when I was a DJ, I used to play a Little Feat song. You had it was like a 6 or 7 minute, because I could go to the bathroom during it. It was a...
Was it an instrumental?
Yeah.
They had the dog race.
That's the one. I gotta go to the bathroom. I just hear that.
And there he goes. You know, you mentioned some of these films when you came out here, but you really had a very nice career for yourself. You've been in some really great and also very large motion pictures, haven't you?
Luck.
You think so?
Well,
no, I don't think so. I think it would be luck if you were in like one, and then you think, well, that was luck. But you've been in a series of really nice films.
Well,
and then you get to work with Steve Martin in a film.
Yeah, well, we've done Actually, 4. He just did another picture, and I did a day on it. But we did Little Shop of Horrors, and then Parenthood, and now My Blue Heaven, which is the first one that we really sort of co-starred
And
together.
again, this sounds to me like a really good idea for a film. This is the witness relocation program kind of deal?
Steve plays a mobster who's relocated under the federal witness program, and I play this FBI guy, first time carrying a gun in a movie.
Oh, great.
Weird feeling.
And you're supposed to take care of him in the program? Is that
Yeah, and he makes my life crazy because he's just, and he looks great in the movie, and he's really wonderful.
All right, now,
terrific. I didn't bring a clip.
No clip. Okay.
I didn't bring a clip because, you know, I mean, I come on the show when a movie's coming. I can't shamelessly come on here and show a clip. So instead, I brought some still photos.
All right, still photos.
Now you'll see here. Where should I go here?
More
right here?
tedious. Right? I think this one. Right here.
Or
over
this
here,
one here? Okay. There's a pic. That's the way Steve looks in the picture. So there's a picture of Steve and myself.
You have your little FBI outfit on there.
There's my. And there's a picture of Joan Cusack and I.
She's great, isn't she?
She's terrific.
Yeah, she's very, very funny. Very interesting.
Yeah, and a giggler, too. So Steve and I had a good time with her. There's a picture of Joan and I.
Oh, this is down in San Diego?
Yeah, that's at San
Coronado?
Diego. Yeah. And, you know, if I flip these, we could actually have sort of like a flip book clip.
All right. Let's...
There you go. So that's what the movie looks like, basically. Wait a second. Something from Spaceballs got in there. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Now, we didn't mention Spaceballs.
Yeah, talk about blockbuster.
I guess that's the exception that would prove the rule here.
What do you mean?
I don't know. So you're having a good summer?
I'm having a great time.
You're like a big deal movie star?
Oh, major, yes.
Your family's excited?
Family's very excited.
Right. And the film My Blue Heaven opens when?
Friday?
Friday.
Friday?
Great. Okay, good
All
enough.
right,
Rick.
thanks
Thanks
a
for your
lot.
time.
Bye.
Thanks for being here. Rick Moranis, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back here. We want to mention one thing. Bob, at the end, after Celine sang, Bob mentioned something, and I think they had cut away because you mentioned the young lady. Who is the Rose Bowl Queen?
The Rose Bowl Queen is Cara Payton Roman.
Right. Very nice. Good. Lovely young lady. Okay. Now, here is a talented young actress who you probably remember from 6 years on SCTV and from movies like Beetlejuice and After Hours. Her latest film is called Home Alone, opens tomorrow. Would you welcome Catherine O'Hara? Catherine O'Hara. Nice to see you again.
Thank you.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
You know,
When was the last time?
I've said this before about SCTV. It was one of the best comedy shows, ensemble shows, and sketch shows on television, and should have had a much bigger audience. But they always had you on very late at night around the country, and a lot of people never got a chance to. How come they never got you on at a good hour? They tried it once. NBC put it on, but they put it on late.
Yeah, they did. They always had it on 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Marvelous sketches.
But then little kids come up to me and say they used to watch it, so...
But
little
probably-
baggy-eyed
probably
kids.
they- But boy, did you had a great cast of people there.
Yeah,
And you did
I know.
marvelous things.
Very nice people.
And you did
I miss
some
them.
devastatingly impressions of various people.
Yeah, we all did. We used
Yeah,
to.
you all, you used to do...
I used to do a lot, yeah.
Yeah, what did you do? I don't want to put you on the spot, but you
No,
did...
when I was a kid, I started, like, when I was 11 or 12, started doing them.
Mimicking
But I
people?
would impersonate, impersonators. So,
Right.
and they were mostly men, so all I did was men.
Well, that's
When I was
funny.
like 11 or 12, James Mason.
James Mason?
James Mason. Mason came with the cow. Oh, I can't get the breath. Oh, my dad liked it. You can imagine how good I was at 12. And then when I got to Second City, I finally learned how to do women from Marty Short.
Yes.
And because he does a great Katharine Hepburn. He's done it on your show, I know.
All right, now, can
and
you
I
remember-
used to have, I'm sorry?
Can you remember any part of it?
Oh, I used to have to
do
go in-
Marty Short, did you?
He has a low voice doing it, but which is great. I think guys do Katharine Hepburn better than women do. I can always say do. I do Katharine Hepburn. But I used to have to go into a room. I used to have to go into a room and go, trying to wreck my throat
To get it
enough
down
be
in
able
here?
to do, But Marty also taught me how to do, or he got me started on doing Liz Taylor. He said, you basically cry out your last words. Like, oh, hold me, I've been so lonely. they were clutching at him and grasping him. It was as if they devoured him.
It's a funny idea. You miss that show? You must miss it.
Oh, it's fun, yeah. I still see everyone, though.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I miss having great, smart, funny, talented people hanging around so I can get feedback and get ideas from them.
You really kind of lift each other, don't you, when you're doing sketches?
We used to go down together, too.
Yeah. You're from Canada?
Yeah.
Now you're a beach person?
We are.
You now live at the beach, I hear.
Yeah, my boyfriend has a great house up from the ocean, not too close to the ocean, which is okay, because I almost drowned this year.
Oh, no, seriously?
In Mexico, yeah. We went to in Cabo San Lucas, which is beautiful. The beaches are great, but I'm scared of the ocean, and we were looking for surfing beaches because he's a surfer, and so we'd go driving through the mountains. The most obscure beaches. We finally got to this one with nobody on it except some donkeys who kept cornering us up against the car. Get the donkeys away from me! And the beach was called Shipwreck, so we should have known.
Yeah.
But Bo had hair down to here at the time, and every time he came up from, out of the water from surfing, he would choke on his own hair, so he kept bugging me to cut his hair, so I actually cut it on the beach, and we're covered in hair and sweat, so hot. So we go into the water, and I would never go, like, over my neck because I'm afraid of the ocean.
Aren't you a swimmer?
No, I basically like to stand on my hands in the water. Look what I can do.
Yeah.
And, so we were, I just started treading water, maybe up to my neck, but the waves would come over and get deep. Then we say, okay, let's swim in. And I look, and the shore's like 3 blocks away. And Bo, my boyfriend's, okay, well, let's swim in. So we start swimming, and I'm swimming and swimming. I'm not a good swimmer. I'm swimming and swimming, and I look up, and it's further away.
Would you get a riptide or something?
Undertow.
An undertow.
Thank you. I didn't know it. But we're swimming and swimming in, and we're going nowhere, getting further out. And all I was doing was grasping, like, drinking salt water. And Bo was getting mad, saying, take your shirt off, because I had a long-sleeve shirt. Take your shirt off. No, can't take off my shirt. I'll go swim. Take your shirt off, or I'll rip the thing off of you. Get it off. He's a powerful man.
Yes, I can tell that.
He figured out, because he used to be a lifeguard, he figured out it was an undertow, so he said, swim sideways. I go, I can't swim sideways. Finally got in, and I wept for 3 days.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Oh, God. Yeah, you just keep getting sucked.
If you ever get caught in that, you're supposed to swim parallel to the shore.
Yeah, he figured it out.
And then wait till it breaks, and then you can go on in. But
Have you ever been in one?
Well, I've been out, and as soon as you find out that you just got to stop and just swim parallel to the shore, because you're not going to swim against it, and you'll get out of it, and then you swim back in.
But it feels like you'll never get out, and he's swim sideways. Yeah, I'm wanting to go over there, thanks.
Yeah.
Swim over here.
Now, this is your boyfriend?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I don't want to get too personal, but...
Then don't.
But I have to ask you. Sure, I'm going to, but I will. Is this a serious... And I don't know what serious really means.
What is
it a serious... Well, I mean, I suppose... Could it lead to marriage? Or do you hope it leads to marriage? Or do you care about marriage?
I think about marriage every day, yeah, but I can't make up my mind about whether it's natural or not.
What baffles you about
it?
It's
so difficult, isn't it?
What baffles? Oh, yes, it is. But I'm here to help. It is probably the most baffling relationship in the world.
Yeah.
That kind of relationship. Bob's been married a long time. I have not. I have had problems, but I try, and it's a difficult relationship.
My parents celebrated the 50th this year.
That's marvelous.
So they found each other. Somebody else who wanted it to last that long, I guess.
That's great. Freddie, you're doing this.
Oh.
It's a wonderful clip.
We're getting too far behind, and if we talk too much, we're not going to show the stuff we want to show.
That's why I'm here, isn't it?
Of course you are. You don't care about this other stuff. This opens tomorrow, right?
Yes, Home Alone.
Home Alone. Hey. Do we need
well, no, but my mom told me to tell you that they saw it last night. My mom and dad saw it, my Uncle Bert and Auntie Fran, and my cousins and my sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
She said, tell Johnny that we all loved it, and we all went to your brother's club, the Squeeze Club, and we all talked about how much we loved it.
Well, isn't that nice? All right, well, we're going to see it now. Freddie's pointing. All right, watch the monitor.
Kevin!
Good transition. We'll be right back. There we are. Good setup. We'll be back. Well, folks, the old clock on the wall. Anyway, the picture of Home Alone opens tomorrow around the country.
Yes, it does.
I wish you much success with it.
Thank you.
You're a delight. Come back with us, will you?
Thank you. I will.
And Bernard, your picture opens tomorrow, too, right? Yes, and that is called, I know what it's called, The Rescuers from Down Under, the sequel to the first one. And we'll look forward again to 3 and 4.
Thank you very much.
Yes, all right, and we'll see you New Year's Day.
That's right.
You and Miss Rosebone. Tomorrow night, the music of Jenny Buffett from A. Manchester Harrison, Rita Rudner, and Joan Benny. We'll see you then. Good night.
You know, our first guest plays the mom in what has become the biggest grossing comedy film of all time. It's called Home Alone. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is once again, one of the funniest women in show business, Catherine O'Hara. Oh, Catherine. To see you. Thank you for being on the show. We haven't seen you in quite some time.
Long time.
Yeah, you know, I didn't realize, and forgive me for being so damn dumb, I didn't realize you were in this film, Home Alone.
And you saw it?
No, well, I didn't say that either. But it's like the biggest film of, geez, certainly the decade and maybe forever, isn't it?
I know. Can
Yeah.
you believe it? I wish I produced it.
Did you, how long ago did you make this thing?
Last March,
Yeah.
April.
Now, this is one of those John Hughes films, so you must have said to yourself,
Yeah.
well, this would be a pretty good thing to do.
Yeah,
But
it was
of
a nice
course.
script, yeah.
Did you have any idea at the time that it was going to go through the roof? You
No,
can't
I
tell,
don't know
can
who
you?
did.
Yeah.
But comes in handy sometimes being in a hit movie.
I would think so.
Last week, a stranger asked me, so what do you do for a living? And I said, I act. You do? Yeah. What do you act in? Well, I act in movies. No. Are you working on a movie now? No. Do you have one coming up? No. And you act in movies, huh? Well, I can be currently seen in the top grossing comedy of all time, Home Alone. Perhaps you've heard of it? I play the mother.
Squished him like a bug.
Oh, didn't I?
Yeah. Now, we had the little kid on, Macaulay.
Macaulay.
I don't know. What's his name? Macaulay.
Last time I was here, I just done Home Alone, and I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah.
But now everyone knows his name.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Macaulay Macaulay.
Macaulay Macaulay.
I think.
Yeah. He's a nice little kid. He's like a normal little kid. He had actually done a little something for us years ago, and if you ran into him on the street, you probably wouldn't know that he was an actor, or certainly not a kid who's in this big, huge film.
Yeah.
How did you get along with him all right?
Oh, yeah, he's a sweet little, unaffected, great guy. Yeah,
And
very smart and funny.
And his dad, you met his dad. He's a nice enough guy, too?
Yeah, oh, yeah, they're all very nice. I think his dad and mom manage him.
Yeah.
Working with kids is a bit strange, though, because they have, different laws, of course, for children. They can't overwork them.
Right.
And they can only work if they start late enough, they can work them to midnight, but not past that.
Right.
In only a certain number of hours. And they would do all the kids' coverage, as much as they could before they would have to release them. And then they would do close-ups of the adults with either small adults or little kids who weren't allowed to say the lines and were just allowed to stand there. Little tired kids would come in at 2 in the morning.
Right.
No,
wait a minute. If the other kids aren't allowed to be there, why are this other batch of kids, is it okay for them to be there?
Because they're not as famous.
They're not famous
you
kids.
You can beat them if you like.
No.
I don't know why either. I asked that and nobody answered. They all ran away. No. But you would end up acting, I would, myself. I would end up doing these close-ups like 2 in the morning. Close-ups on my face, acting like yelling at this little kid who's supposed to be a Macaulay. Get up to your room. And the little kid is not allowed to say lines. Well, the lines would be said by the script assistant off, camera. Oh, that's all right. And this little kid, I'm saying, Kevin, get up to your room. And he's like, he just laughed at every line I said.
Yeah. Now, if these stand-in, non-famous kids actually said the lines at 2 in the morning, of course, then you'd have to pay them.
You'd have to pay
But
them.
as it is now...
You wouldn't be able to slap them around.
Oh, no, stop that. No.
Oh, the sweetest little kid, Ben. I don't know his last name, but he was a doll. He came in every night like that, little tired face.
Well, tired, of course. It's in the middle of the night.
I know.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you like that as a kid?
Well, no, because then you have to get up and go to school. Or of course, maybe these kids were too good for school.
Don't
I don't
have
know.
to.
Show me these kids. Who knows what the hell's going out there in Hollywood?
There are different laws.
And is there going to be like another one, the big sequel, the big blockbuster?
They say, although I can't imagine they'll have the parents be that stupid again. I don't know. It will be involved.
Yeah.
He'll just be alone at the beginning. Never mind how. He's alone. Okay, they're gone. Let's get to the good stuff.
So you don't think you're going to be in this? You have to be in the second one.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Well, yeah. Is anybody looking into this?
He killed
for
us
you?
or something. And oh, they'll probably have him at camp, and he'll be left alone. I think the basic idea is to leave him alone somewhere.
Right, but...
We know that as the working premise here.
But don't they need, as the conduit to leaving him alone someplace, dumb parents?
Once in a while have someone, I must get home to him.
Yeah, yeah. We've misplaced him again, and here comes another $80 million film.
I watched it with an audience full of kids, and
Kids must love it.
Oh, they would go wild with the burglar stuff, and it was just such great, silly slapstick. And then they'd go back to the mother at the airport, you know, me. And these kids in the audience, okay, let's go get some. Oh, it's okay, it's the mother. Let's go.
Yeah, but you have to remember something. For every kid, there certainly is a mother.
One would hope.
Yeah, one certainly would hope.
Or a test tube, or...
Something. And you've now I don't know if I got the chronology about this right. You were on vacation. You were on a honeymoon. You were on a trip. You were kidnapped. Where it was something about a trip.
Happened?
I don't know. You were off in Mexico.
Yes, I was.
Is that a recent
nearly
trip?
drowned, sir.
Really?
Yeah, I was there on a beach in Cabo San Lucas with my boyfriend, the wonderful production designer, Bo Welch.
What's his name?
Bo Welch. He just
Bo
did Edward
Welch?
Scissorhands.
Oh, now that was an entertaining film.
He did Beetlejuice. We were there, and I was... we were on a beach called Shipwrecks. He was looking for deserted surfing beaches, and he found this one. There was no one there but us and some mules. And we go in.
Those ocean-going mules? Those saltwater mules you read about down in Mexico? Yeah.
Oh, how would they hold their nose?
I don't know. So anyway, you and Bo are out there.
So, yeah, I cut his hair on the beach, and we got all covered in hair and stuff. So we went in the water. And I will not go past, up to here because I don't like
Deserted beach, yeah.
Too scary.
Yeah.
So we were like, I was still standing on the ground, then just treading water, and then we say, okay, we're in there for 5 minutes. We say, let's go back, let's get out. We turn, and the shore is like a long ways away to my eye.
Been
So we start
dragged out.
swimming in. Yeah, swimming. I look up. We're further away. Swim further. And then I'm like swallowing salt water. We're gonna drown.
Yeah.
He said, he finally figured out what was going on. He used to be a lifeguard, so he said, let's swim that way.
Right.
Why would I swim that way? I'm going that way. Please let me go in. No, swim that way, swim that way.
Swim parallel to the beach.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, most people know this except me. And he didn't say undertow, but he was looking very scary, and I thought, he thinks we're going to die, so we're definitely going to die. And then I'm swallowing more water. He says, take your shirt off. I had this big, long shirt. Take it off, or I'll rip the effing thing off your body.
Oh, yeah.
And he dragged me, practically. He saved my
So he
life.
saved your life. That's
yeah, we
great.
got in. That was an undertow.
Wow.
Oh, and I was not cool.
You should have just whistled for one of them mules to come out and get you. Have one of them swim out and drag you into the beach house. Get yourself a Mai Tai. Margarita. Let's see, you got another film coming out soon?
No, but I'm currently...
I know. And you're going back to California?
Yes, I am.
Well, enjoy your time here in New York. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Catherine O'Hara. And we'll be back with Ray Mendez and his Cold-Blooded Animals.
Okay, we are back. We're marvelous people for you. We have two people who are movie stars from different generations. The younger, of course, is John Candy, and Maureen O'Hara has made 56 motion pictures, including all-time classics like The Quiet Man and Miracle on 34th Street. And she actually retired from the business 20 years ago, but apparently John persuaded her to come back for one more time, and the picture is called Only the Lonely, which comes out the 24th and has received some marvelous reviews. Would you welcome John Candy and Maureen O'Hara? What a great kick to have you here.
Thank you.
And I told the audience what I told you when I saw you in your dressing room. Secretly in love with you for 50 years. And I got a chance to tell you.
That was before you were born.
Oh, give me a break. Aren't you? That's why I love you for saying stuff like that. You look absolutely marvelous. I thank you for coming tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I mentioned that you retired or quit 20 years ago. Can I ask you why? A lot of people make the mistake sometimes of trying to hang on and say, I'm going to keep going, and it doesn't work out, and you voluntarily...
Well, I quit for many reasons. I married perhaps the most wonderful man in the world, Charlie Blair, one of the great pioneer pilots of the world, the first man to fly over the North Pole solo. And I could go, it would take your whole show to talk about Charlie. And John Wayne was down visiting us in St. Croix, where we lived, where I moved to. Right. And they were both 6 feet 4 inches tall, and I was sitting down, and they were standing up, and they looked at me and said, "Isn't it about time you stayed home?"
Seriously?
Yeah. And they thought they were going to get a great argument from me, and I said, okay, fine. So I quit.
Did you ever have any regrets?
No, I had the most wonderful life. I flew all over the world with Charlie. We went round the world twice in a seaplane. He was a general in the Air Force, too. And so I got to live all the wonderful adventures that I had only acted out on the back of the Fox and the Universal lot. So I was living those adventures.
Yeah, you see, a lot of people would miss being in front of the public eye. But obviously, you didn't and went and had a different part of your life.
I was in the aviation industry. I learned the aviation industry. And that has to do with the public also. Because if you don't please the public and communicate with the public, they won't buy any more tickets on your airline.
Yeah. How did you manage to come back? How did John have this influence on you? Or I can't see you two hanging out together. I mean, having cookouts at each other's house or something. How did it happen?
Oh, that's pretty insulting.
No, I didn't mean it insulting. I didn't know you were friends.
Well, actually what happened was the young director of the film, Christopher Columbus, wrote the part of Rose for me. Right. And then couldn't find me because I had retired. And finally contacted a newspaperman friend of mine in New York called Joe Murphy. And Joe gave them my brother's telephone number, my brother Charlie Fitzsimons, who's the executive director of the Producers Guild. And they sent the script to Charlie. He read it. He called me. He said, "This time you can't turn it down. You must do it." And I said, "Oh, all right, send it to me. Okay." So they sent it to me, and I read it, and it was true. It was wonderful. And then I said, well, I'd like to meet the two young men, Christopher Columbus and Hunt Lowry. So I flew out to L.A., and I met them. And in about 5 minutes, we loved each other. I liked them. I thought it would be wonderful to work for them. And then I said, no, but wait a minute. I think I also need to meet John Candy. So John was up in...
Chicago.
No, you were in...
We were in Chicago.
Yeah, but you flew into Chicago, didn't you, from Canada?
She says you were in Chicago, you were in Chicago.
I just go along.
Yeah.
I just go along with it.
And I flew into Chicago, and this time it was like 50 seconds. I just looked at him, I looked into those gorgeous eyes, and I said, yes, I'll be his mom.
Boy, that's nice. The eyes did it, huh?
That's right.
Well, the eyes always do it, right?
Well, I kind of thought we looked a little bit alike. We have the same kind of teeth.
Same teeth.
We have the same mouth. And the same eyes.
We all know that John Candy is a marvelous comedy actor, a marvelous sketch actor.
Oh,
yes.
I
mean, that goes without saying. But I know what you're going to say.
Wait till you see this picture. John Candy comes into his own as a fine, dramatic actor. And just you wait. In a little while, he's too young right now, but very soon, John Candy is going to be doing all the great roles that Charles Laughton has done. He's going to be doing Witness for the Prosecution and all the marvelous roles. He is a fantastic actor.
You listen to Mother.
I'm listening.
Well, that's high praise indeed. That is high praise coming from you, because I think people who are skilled at comedy are basically good actors.
Oh, comedy is one of the most difficult things in the world to do.
Right.
Well, it was easy working with Maureen, I'll tell you. It was, what a pro.
Did she make you comfortable?
Not at first. Actually, in the first audition, when we were reading the script, see, I'm still nervous around you, see? No, when we first met, I mean, everybody in the room, when Maureen walked in, the whole room lit up. Everybody was smiling and beaming. And we went up to a little office upstairs, and we sat for about 3 hours talking about John Ford, or Mr. Ford, I should call him.
Yes.
And the Duke.
Yeah.
And we started reading the script. And when I first heard Maureen read, we were all just so captivated. I forgot I was next. You know, I had the next line. She'll never use it.
I read a review in Northern Trades today. It was marvelous.
Yeah.
I read a review in Northern Trades today.
You read it, Variety?
It was marvelous. Absolutely marvelous.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a silly question? When Jimmy Stewart was here, and we talked about another great holiday movie, of course, which was It's a Wonderful Life. When they made that picture, it wasn't very well accepted by the public at that time, became a classic. When you did Miracle on 34th Street, was it at that time big as it has become?
Yes, it was very, very big box office right away because it had the same kind of warmth and charm that I think our picture has.
Yeah.
It was always popular. As a matter of fact, you'll see it every Christmas. When I'm nailed into the box and long gone, you'll still be seeing.
Don't even talk.
You'll still be seeing it every Christmas and The Quiet Man every March.
I saw it last holiday and it was marvelous. Both the pictures.
Just before Christmas, I was in New York and I was coming home from Mass in the middle of the day, and about 5 young kids came up behind me and they pulled on my coat and they said, "You're the lady that knows Santa Claus, aren't you?" And I turned around and I said, "Yes, I know Santa Claus very, very well."
Isn't that nice to have that go on year after year after year? That's sweet. Freddie is giving me we want to show this. We've talked about the picture. We have a small portion here, a couple of minutes. Does this need any little lead-in to explain this particular scene?
I don't know what you're going to see.
Your girlfriend is in the room with you when Mother comes.
That's exactly right.
Well, thank you.
The bedroom.
The bedroom scene.
This is from Only the Lonely. Watch the monitors. That's a good scene. That's funny. That's a marvelous scene. Has John tried to sell you an interest in any football teams at all?
Not. Thank you. The Argonauts, yes. No, we'll be talking after the show on that one, though.
Yeah, you invested in the Canadian football team.
With Bruce McNall and Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah.
I had no idea I was going to be involved. I phoned Bruce McNall up to congratulate him. I read in the paper that he bought it, and he said, "Forget the congratulations, get your checkbook out." And
is this the first time you've ever been involved in sports?
Yeah.
It was not going to end there, you know.
No, I know. I just didn't realize how involved it is.
Didn't you guys sign the Rocket?
Yes, we signed the Rocket.
Ismail, for something like, I hate to even quote the figure.
26 million.
26 million bucks over about
U.S.
4 or 5 years. U.S. dollars.
Yeah.
Over how many years?
4. It's a good deal.
We're in the wrong business.
Isn't it a good deal?
Do you play football?
Oh, for that, I'll play anything.
We're hoping.
Now, a lot of people think he'll be great there because of his running ability, because the Canadian football field, if people do not know, is it what, 20 or 10?
It's 65 yards wide.
65 versus the 50 yards.
Yeah. And we've got a longer field, 110 yards long. And we've got end zones that go on forever.
Yeah.
So it should be good for him. When he turns the corner, he's got that extra 10 yards.
You're going to be involved
and an extra man out there to block for him.
You're going to be involved in picking players and all that stuff?
I'll be blocking for him. With that kind of money, I'm looking after him.
We'll take a break. We're coming right back. Okay, we are back. Anyway, it has been a delight to have you here.
Thank you.
So nice to see you, really. I wish you much luck. And John, you too. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you very much.
And it's Only the Lonely, which opens. This is the preview, right? Tuesday, May 21st?
And it opens on the 24th.
I saw the invitation. I see Mr. Candy in the background here, and I see, I don't know if you can see this from there.
Ali Sheedy.
Yeah. Are these, Camera 3. Now, can we ask whose legs those are? Are those your,
Well, they sure as hell aren't mine.
Oh, yeah. And
they're not mine.
Anyway, thank you both for coming. I hope the movie's a big hit for you. Enjoy having you here. Have a nice weekend. Good night.
can't stop clapping. Is that Holiday for Strings? Yeah, and people go nuts. Who would have thought? Be very careful when and where you play that.
I won't abuse it, sir.
Our first guest is an old friend of ours and one of the funniest people in show business today. His new movie is called Pure Luck and opens all across the country 1 week from today. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Martin Short. How you doing?
I'm very, very good. How are you?
I'm good. Always a pleasure to have you with us. How's your summer going?
Well, it's going fantastically, but not as well as yours, because I'm telling you something. You look great.
Thank you very much.
I saw you wandering through the hallway. I thought Piscopo was here. You're working out, aren't you? No, I'm serious. It was unbelievable. There was a whole Richard Greco quality that was oozing.
I don't know what that means, but thanks anyway.
No,
I appreciate it.
You look good. The tie works.
Yeah.
You seem beaming. It's Friday.
Yeah?
Yeah. It makes me feel happy. I've been up north with the loons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I think that this is, to me, this is almost magical. You have your own island in Canada. Is that right?
That's true. We sit there, Nancy and I, we reflect. Sometimes we say, my, the sky is darkening over. I hope there are no sailors about.
We go out for 6 weeks to literally on Golden Pond. And I know that one of these days I'll be on the front of a boat saying, I said stern, and whip right over, you know. It's absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous place. And
how do you get there? Is it remote? Could a guy like me come up?
Sure you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 3 hours from Toronto. I'll send you instructions, you know. We can take you the train. It's a little public, but you'll be fine. Yeah. And it's actually this island was owned by Noel Coward.
Really?
Yes. And it's about 1890.
And you own the island now?
No, I rent the island. I'm sorry. I might have told your researchers long ago I owned it, but, you know, I was lying. I didn't have any material, and on top of that, I didn't have the money. But it's owned by Noel Coward, and on quiet nights, you go out in that dock, and sometimes you can almost, it's so magical, you can almost hear the voice of Noel Coward saying, find out the name of the tall one. You know, I mean, why would what does it mean? What does that mean? Pa, you look fabulous. Fabulous. I laughed hysterically when I heard the optometrist joke. Those are dark sunglasses.
Yes, yeah. But as Paul pointed out, they're for a purpose. I had forgotten that. Well, we can't. It's a little surprise. We can't reveal that right now.
Ah,
you know,
the slinky eye joke.
Yeah. Whenever I see you on the shows like this one, and then like the Tonight Show or whatever show you happen to be on, you're always, you know, very energetic and very entertaining. And you don't have trouble doing this sort of. It just comes really naturally to you. Do you ever get yourself in trouble on those shows?
I would say that the first time I did Johnny Carson show, I was kind of nervous because I mean it was Johnny. Yeah,
sure,
yeah, it was 1988 too, and the first guest was Betty Davis. Yeah. And I decided, being a cocky nutmaster that I am, that it would be kind of funny to do Betty Davis to Betty Davis.
Oh no, that makes sense.
So
sure.
Betty had come out and she'd killed. She'd done the unicycle bit. She'd done all her stuff. It was '88, and she'd done the plates. Look at how they move, you know. And so I came out, and Betty was here, and I came out, and I sat down, and I turned to her and said, and what a pleasure to meet you. And she had no idea who I was or how I sounded. She thought that was my voice. Why shouldn't she? Said, thank you. So far, so good. So I'm doing with Johnny, and at one point, Johnny asked me to do Ed Grimley. And I was doing Ed Grimley. No, this is Betty Davis, not looking at me like doesn't have a clue. I was saying, oh, yes. And I turned to her and said, oh, Miss Davis, I suppose it isn't very decent meeting you, I must say. And I extended my hand, and she didn't take it. And I kind of went back like that and wiped away. And then later on, I did Jerry Lewis. I was doing Jerry Lewis, and I decided to, I was getting cocky, and I said, hey, so, John, it's exciting to be here. Hi, Betty! And that shocked me.
It even startled you,
Yeah,
huh?
and she just sat like this. So finally, and I was doing some impersonations, and finally, you hear from the side sheet, you hear, do you do me? Now, I'd done her, you see. So I turned to her and I said, well, you're not that easy to do. And she said, then skip it. And, I think she knew, though. I think she was putting me on.
Yeah,
Because
probably
she was actually very, very hip and sharp.
Yeah. Let's see, we're doing a commercial. All right, we'll do a commercial and then...
I love this part of the show.
And we'll come back
Can I
here
watch?
with... Yeah, sure, hang around.
If the shyness becomes too much for the show, won't you?
No, I sense that you're beginning to come out of the shell a little bit.
But I'm just masking the pain, and you know that.
Of course I know.
Yeah.
Who would know better than I?
Absolutely.
Do you want to... I'll just ask you this. You don't have to do it if you don't want to.
What?
You want to do a little more Jerry and run around for us or not? You don't have to. It's just that I like that so well. But if you don't feel it, don't do it,
Well, normally I wouldn't.
All right.
But again, because you're into this whole Piscopo bodybuilding thing, I feel that gotta get my old tuxedo press. Yeah. It's frightening, right? And the tragedy is, I'm not getting any younger. I mean, this is gonna be, yeah.
But the part where Jerry is calling for the young ladies or the girls or a little of that, Young ladies!
Hey, lady! Be my friend today and come and make me a bagel or two. But then there's a serious Jerry, as we know.
Of course there is, yeah.
When they talk about the studio heads and they're afraid of a perfectionist. And the Jerry laugh that we love, like the plum pudding with the lozenge.
Let's talk about the new film.
The new film is called Pure Luck.
Pure Luck. Who's in the... Run down the cast for us.
Mr. Danny Glover. And Danny is wonderful. Danny Glover, Sheila Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
What
does that mean? Yeah.
What do you mean?
I don't know. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
I said, and you went, yeah.
No. You had a little thing like,
me.
oh, I guess you must have been expensive. One of those things. Sheila Kelly, who's absolutely... You just watch.
Okay, we'll
Fasten your seatbelts for this one, because she's wonderful in this film.
Yeah.
Sam Wanamaker and the fabulous and always charming Mr. Harry Shearer right here.
Oh, yeah. So this is great. So we know it's going to be funny, eh?
Yeah, it's very funny. It opens August 9th. We did it in Acapulco.
Was that fun? How long were you there?
We were there 2.5 months, and I tell you about Acapulco, it's disco crazy. There are 19 discos there. The Bee Gees are just hitting.
Wow!
The one disco we used to go to a place called Fantasy, Danny and I. And their Nasto ran the Fantasy, and he said, this Donna Summer is something, no? I said, yes, she's very good. You heard about the McGuire sisters. I said, the Sullivan show won't have them anymore. Yeah. No, they're behind, but they're very...
We have a clip here?
Yeah.
So, you want to look at this?
Yeah, the clip is...
Lady!
So the clip, should I set it up, Dave? The premise is that I have the world's worst luck. My character.
Right.
My character. I love when people talk. The character that dwells within me.
Yeah.
And so the premise is that he's been hit by lightning 5 times, 3 times. in a movie theater, ladies and gentlemen. And so in this scene, he's very allergic to bees. It's one's been on his face earlier in the scene. He's brushed it off. He thinks it's gone away, but it hasn't. It's gone on the back of his seat.
All right, this is early in the film?
That's midway through.
No.
I'll get you a time count later.
Okay, here's Martin Short. The film is Pure Luck. Opens
August 9th.
Pretty funny. Yeah. All right. Well, I, of course, hope it's a big hit. It looks very funny, and always a pleasure to have you here. My best to the family.
Thank you, David. It's a pleasure to be here.
Have a great summer.
Thank you very much.
Come back often and stay late. Words to that effect.
The best offer I've had on Martin Short, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll be right back.
Mama. Okay, my first guest. That's proof, man. We're out of here soon. I'm a big fan of Marty Short. He's a funny guy, actor, comedian, starring in a movie called Pure Luck, which opened last Friday, and they say is playing in a theater near you. Now, how do we know that? We don't know where these people live. May not be a theater near them. But it says in a theater near you. Well, let's find out. Would you welcome Marty Short? All right. I got to clear this up.
Hello, John. Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, where do you live?
I live in, what do you mean?
I want to know, is there a theater near you where you live?
There is absolutely no theater near me.
You see? They lied.
You know, Ed. Yes. John.
Right into David Steinberg.
Where the heck is Doc? Doc, you know, John, Doc has gone away. That makes me sad.
You do that every time you come here because you know I go under the desk when you do.
I know. Well, no. The last time I was here, I didn't because I wanted to stretch.
You want to stretch it out?
No, I want to stretch my routine.
Not use up all your stuff.
No, I can't do the same thing.
We haven't seen you for how long has it been?
It's been about a year and a half, maybe.
Well, I know you made this movie. What else?
Well, in the words of the late Billy DeWolf, I've been busy.
Did you know Billy at all? He was a dear friend of mine.
Yeah, well, right now in Des Moines, Iowa, guys, who the heck is Billy DeWolf? Yeah, right. I know Billy Barty, but I don't know. Yeah, Billy DeWolf was hysterical. He always used to do that when he came busy. I did 3 movies in a row. I did Pure Luck, which... Oh, please, thanks. I did Father of the Bride with Steve Martin and Diane Keaton, and Clifford, where I play a 10-year-old boy with Charles Grodin.
Now, that's got to be fun for an actor.
Well, it's absolutely...
Because all actors are kids anyway.
But this is the sincerely playing a 10-year-old boy. I mean, all my utensils, if this were a pencil, would be bigger. Right. And if the camera would be here, I would make up for days. I would go in at 2 a.m. for an estimate. They'd put me in dry ice and call a priest and pray, and they would pull and stretch.
So you actually had to play the...
Absolutely. And the most frightening experience in a career, may I say, filled with frightening experiences, but the first day, I was wearing shorts in it. So I had to nair my legs, which is to put a nair on your legs and get the hair off your legs. And they'd given me about 3 tubes the night before, the makeup artist, John Elliott. And so I came in the first day, and I had forgotten to nair my legs. And they said, oh, gee, we're a little late on time. And so it was just John Elliott and 2 female hairdressers who were in the makeup trailer. And I said, well, gee, look, we're a little bit late. Let me just take off my pants. Which I did, But I had white jockey underwear.
Yes, well,
nothing wrong with that.
No, that's... Classy.
I'll get you film of that one. But anyway...
He is lonely, yes.
So I had white jockey underwear, and I just said, that's fine. So I put my legs up on the makeup counter like this, and I'm talking to John Elliott, and I'm in my white jockey underwear, and I'm talking to him, and talking to him for about 10 minutes, and the women are I feel them naring, and then wiping. And I finally, after 10 minutes, I haven't moved, and I look down, and my little fellow is hanging out of my underwear. And I can't...
Is that like Goodfellow? I mean, is that the same? I've never heard that particular
Little fella.
used.
Euphemism. So it was kind of it was a throat clear. If I'd been a seamstress, I would have spit pins.
Yes.
You know. And
big take.
Yeah, oh boy. So it was. So it took me about 3 weeks to go up to Christine Lee, one of the hairdressers, and said, by the way, you know, that first day was it? She said, she said, yeah, I'll tell you. She's Chinese. She said, yeah, I'll tell you. Yes, it was. And if I know you then, like I know you now, I would just shove that thing back in. But it was just.
You make close friends on a movie set, don't you?
Oh, John, you make. What did you say?
What are you using air for? Don't they have those things now? Like a weed whacker, you use
a weed whacker
pulls the hair out by the roots or something.
Well, sure you do. There's lots of things, but this is no. This is a brilliant product. We can't sell Nair in the thing, but it was sad, really.
So you always break me up because you started as a kid, I suppose, doing voices, sound effects, as most comics do. You can get attention in class.
Right. You know, you stand up and I mean, I would as a kid go, "Hey, lady, I'm the teacher would go like this. I'd go like this. You know what? You know, because at the very beginning started to do Jerry.
Of course.
Of course. And but the only frightening thing is about doing these people is that I'm always afraid to go out in public in Hollywood because I'm always afraid that
you're going to run into them.
Well, yeah. Well, if you've done some and you don't really know. I mean, see, if you do these.
But they say that's a compliment. Unless, do you do them and you know?
Well, don't you think? But I think that if you do them, there has to be a bit of a, you know, you have to do a few of the warts,
right?
You know, involved. And
didn't you do a thing? Did Jerry Lewis singing Bob Dylan?
Yeah, that was.
Now that is a great.
No, but actually, I was injured. It was the only time I ever got hurt. It was doing SCTV, and the premise was it was, you know, comedy idea. It's late at night, and. The idea was Lewis sings Dylan, a record album. Lewis sings Dylan. And, you know, like a rolling stone, you know, we'd have a big stone, you know, chasing me down, you know, rock. And, but anyway, so I was on a 12-foot podium, and I had all my clothes that were Velcro ready to be pulled off because I was singing, the big wind machine, I'm singing, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wah! And at that point, there are people off camera pulling, you know, the string, but the Velcro didn't go, and they pulled, and I went,
People thought it was part of the sketch, and
oh, it was frightening. I kind of laid there, you know, and then, what a way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do a lot of do we have to do a commercial now? Oh, we have to pause. Well, we're coming right back.
Oh, commercial.
Hold it. Hey! Ed, what do we got on the tote board? We'll be right back. $28 million. Hey, we're back.
Thank you. Thanks for remembering.
That's funny. You love doing the singers, don't you?
Yeah, I love doing singers. I wanted to be a singer.
I won't mention the singer's name once, but have you ever seen singers when they work like in a club and they're singing their own songs and they'll sing like 2 bars and the audience will applaud because they recognize the song? I saw a singer one night and I was with, strangely enough, Billy DeWolf. And the singer came out and he'd go da-da-da-da-da-da-da and like this, but the audience wasn't doing anything. They weren't applauding, but he kept this in anyway. Yeah. You know, so-and-so, and you...
No,
why did I bring that up?
I don't know.
Damn.
Well,
learn to edit.
This is tape. We can tell. No, I always wanted to be a singer, but the problem is I had no style. You know, I had other people's style. Right. You know, forget your troubles, come on, get happy. I was doing Tony, and I used to do. You know, I'd be in my attic singing with Frank duets. Something in the way she moves me. But now that I come out. I used to in Canada. I was this boy singer because you know I was tired of being a girl singing and. I would go out and I'd sing, and it wasn't like I couldn't sing the notes. Right. You know, if you asked me to do Bobby Short.
Do Bobby Short.
There no war, you know, but you don't. No war. Yeah, but you can't take that on the road.
No. People will stare at. They'll just stare at you.
Oh, they'll do more than that. And so I had no style of singing, but it actually breaks my heart. And then once you get into comedy and you satirize. Comedy singers, then you can never go back.
No, because you feel awkward and you think people are going to laugh, even if you try to do it straight.
I did a special a couple years ago, and I decided, you know, what the heck, it's my special. I'll sing a ballad at the end. And I sang, I believe that since my life began. And you can see the audience like... And then when I ended, they kind of went... And even people would come up to me and say, you know, I knew what you were doing. And it was, I don't think a lot of people got it. And I said, oh, I'm glad you did. And I realized you can't do that.
Yeah. This movie, Luck, I just...
Pure Luck.
Pure Luck, with Danny Glover?
Danny Glover.
Good actor.
Oh, he's a wonderful actor.
And you did part of this in Acapulco?
We did this in Acapulco, you know?
Oh,
and the thing about Acapulco, we were down there for 2.5 months. And at first you say, oh, my God, you know, I'm away from my wife for 2.5 months. This is... And then you say, hey, it dawns on you that you can't just be depressed about life. You've got to have fun. So...
I think Oliver Wendell Holmes first said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are 19 discos, and the Bee Gees are just hitting there. Yeah.
The twist is it?
Oh, yeah. So we'd go to the clubs, and, you know, I'd be, doing a little in that, and...
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we had a riot.
They have a lot of discos, don't they? You know?
It is really unbelievable. It's so much fun there.
Okay, now, we've mentioned Pure Luck here, because, you know, people come here and they plug things. This is fluff. You want substance, you look elsewhere.
No.
We have a film clip.
Yes, we have a film
We better
clip.
have a film clip, right?
Well, listen, you know, I'm glad to get out.
Well, you don't want to show it then?
Sure. Why? The machine broke? What?
Set it up.
Set it up? Of course, I'd love to set it up. Pure Luck is the comedy idea is that 1 in 3 billion
Is
people...
Brooke Shields in this movie with you, Bob? No, that's another setup. So many
She
people
doesn't
come
swim
through
in
it.
this or anything.
Okay.
It's a stretch. No, No, so... Pure luck is, the idea is that 1 in 3 billion people are born with the world's worst luck. You know, I play a guy who's been hit by lightning 5 times, 3 times in a movie theater, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this is bad luck. So in this clip, we are looking for a girl with equally bad luck, Danny and I have the same bad luck. She has bad luck, I have bad luck.
That's what we're going to see here.
Have I said that we both have bad luck?
Yes.
Oh, well then let's look.
Yes. And you're searching for a girl who has the same bad luck you do. Watch the monitors,
Oh,
folks.
this is fun.
This is a threat.
Who's in this?
The king lives. A Helmbug guy. Whoa. You look like Freddie Bartholomew. Do you remember Freddie Bartholomew?
Sure I do.
A little toe-headed kid in the movies. Red-headed,
I'm
curly
prepared
hair.
for this. Well, you know, it's either that or come up with a character.
Yeah.
You know, no, it's
Or having to act, huh?
yeah. No, it's a cross between Danny Kaye and Lucy. You know.
Yeah.
The missile with the missile, Gary. You know, it was. No, what I'm saying.
Sunday, I'm home.
Yeah, Lucy. No, listen. No, it's a new look.
Yeah.
You notice I don't have it now.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Anyway,
comes off.
it's called Pure Luck.
Pure Luck.
And it's a theater somewhere in your neighborhood.
It's
Possibly.
all over the country.
That's right.
Yeah. Many theaters.
Many theaters. Lots of screens, they say.
Many.
Good luck with it.
Thank you, Johnny.
Okay, we'll take a break and we'll come back. David Spade is here tonight. Who else? Yes, Linda Hopkins.
All right, I believe we have a pretty good program tonight. Let's bring out our first guest and just see what the hell happens. This woman is a talented comedian, a fine actress, and of course she is an alumna of the fine group SCTV and co-star of a brand new motion picture entitled Stepping Out, which opens in various cities on October 4th. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, the always glamorous, the always exciting Andrea Martin. Oh, Andrea! Haven't seen you in a long time.
In a long time,
What the hell you
David.
been up to?
Oh, just plenty. You know, I thought I wouldn't come back until I had something to say.
Really? Well, how long were you gone? It's been 2 years at least.
It has been, yeah. Because
well,
it seemed like every time I was coming on here, I was talking about what spa I'd just been to.
That's
and-
right. The last time you had gone to a spa in Europe somewhere.
No, in probably in Arizona or something.
Yeah. Geography, I was never, you know. Anyway, and I understand you've just now returned from a big trip.
Yes, I just got back from Armenia.
Which
so,
is Arizona
so I'm scared to even
somewhere.
think what you're going to say about that. Right. Do you know where Armenia is, actually?
I probably couldn't find it on the map.
No, and do you know what's interesting? I'm Armenian, and up until July 1st, I didn't know where it was on the map. I'm embarrassed to say.
That's shameful.
It's a frightening thing. And I found out should we turn this into a geography lesson?
Please do.
Absolutely. It is bordered by Turkey and Iran and Azerbaijan and Georgia in the Soviet Union. Yeah. So I went there. In fact, I got back the day before the coup.
Wow.
I got back probably when the time I landed in L.A., Gorbachev was, I believe, answering his door in the Crimea with, "What a surprise! Did I forget to check my book?" Probably.
And what was the purpose of this trip? Must have been just a vacation. You went back there to find your ancestors,
To get my roots done.
To get your roots done. And what did you find when you were there?
You know, I'll tell you what I found the first day that I got there. A mouse in my room. A mouse and I shared a room for 10 days while we were there. And the mouse was very kind of shy when I first got there, just sort of hiding in the corner, kind of, you know, modest and everything.
Was this a hotel room
This was a hotel room.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Soviet Union, you know, we're not talking about the Ritz. So I was in the little hotel room, and the little mouse was in the corner, very modest the first day, sort of cowering, you know, and by the last day, he was actually on my bed, saying, "So what do you think of Yerevan? Good country, then. It's a good place." Very resilient. Everybody has to be resilient there. So I don't know. You like it there or not? You got the cheese while you're at it? Anyway.
So what you're saying, it was a talking mouse.
It was...
Well, now you'll be fabulously
Give me
wealthy.
another subject and let me talk. So anyway, I'm a mouse, if you didn't know by now when I talk. You know...
And while you were there, and this is going to be a silly question, there aren't spas there, are there?
There are no spas there.
Have you been to any lately?
Do you want to get right off Armenia? There's so much more. We're talking 3,000 years of a civilization, you know. Armenia.
Forgive me. I thought maybe we were done.
No.
I had the feeling we were done on Armenia. I'm sorry. But you're saying the talking mouse is just the prelude.
Let me say, I haven't even finished with what he was saying. So let me tell you what else, Andrea, he's saying, because he was a mouse. You know, the country's beautiful, he went on. And it was something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you're doing well.
Yeah. Well, what do you know? The host was right for a change. So now tell us about another spa experience, because I found the first one there fascinating.
You did?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. The last spa I went to was in Texas at the Phoenix.
Now, you go there because it's a great vacation, or this is more than that, or...
I can't believe we're talking about spas after I've been to the Soviet Union. But I know what you're down to. Now...
You know, if there's more... Wait a minute. No. If there's more on the Soviet Union, let's hear it now.
Did I do the talking mouse?
Yeah.
Hello, Andrea. Anyway, I'm a mouse.
Yeah,
so,
but somehow I'm the villain here.
I did. I went to a spa a few months ago, sure, yes. And I stayed away for 2 years and thought I had something to say. Isn't it ironic?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so you're in the spa in Texas where they have the talking armadillos.
There it is. Yes, I was at a spa in Texas.
But why do you go to these?
Well, I go because I'm a spa junkie. Because
but you couldn't certainly seem to be more fit.
No, it's not just about fitness. It's about sort of mellowing out, and I don't see why you think I need anything like that. I go there to jog and to do things like that. Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And how long a time are you away?
Where, in Armenia?
No.
In the spa.
In the spa.
The spa. The spa, I was there for about 1 week. Yes.
Yeah. Now, don't you go crazy being there, isolated like that?
No, I don't.
Yeah?
I like it very
You go
much.
with friends? Do you go with family?
No, I go all by myself and hope that I'll find a pet in the room when I get there that will keep me company.
All right, you want to do a commercial now, or you want to talk a little more about the spa?
I could do the commercial for you. And now, shall I do it as the mouse?
Yeah, do this as the mouse.
And now a message from Budweiser. So clean, so crisp and cold, nothing beats a Bud.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Hi there. I look like somebody who ought to be reminding people to get your hair cut often. How you doing?
I'm good. I just got back from Armenia.
Hey, I know. I want to tell everybody else who's on the program, Jeff Cesario will be out here in a minute, and Patsy Kensit. Paul, now is this true? Paul says you do a great Lauren Bacall.
Oh, that's not true. I'm just going to just sort of stop everything tonight by anything that anybody. Well, I just work with Lauren Bacall, and Paul likes to ask me before I'm on what you know who I just work with. Yes, well, I just work with Lauren Bacall, and in the last year I've worked with Lauren Bacall, Shelley Winters, Liza Minnelli, Debbie Reynolds, and Rose Marie.
Legends or near legends?
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Lillian Gish is the next person next week. Lauren Bacall, we just did a movie together called All I Want for Christmas, and in the middle of it, I'm walking down the stairs as the character, and she yelled out, "Why don't you do Saturday Night Live?" She yelled out. I said, well, nobody's asked me, Betty. I'll talk to Lauren, she says. I said, you know what, though? I'm happy doing what I'm doing now. You know, I'm moving on. You call this moving on, she says. Then you hear the director say, action. I gotta get back. And she just goes, and I just worked with Shelley Winters in Stepping Out.
Yeah.
Shelley Winters is a very eccentric person, you know that. In
She's
the middle...
been on the show a couple times, I think.
Has she?
I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'd have to check the file.
Yesterday we were all doing, for the cast from Stepping Out, Liza Minnelli, Julie Walt. Well, Julie wasn't here because she lives in England. Sheila McCarthy and Jane, lots of people, Bill Earn. We were all doing Sally Jesse Raphael yesterday. And Shelley Winters was to my right, and we were all talking about what we did in the movie and stories about the cast. You know, not really interesting things that anybody wanted to know about. And Shelley obviously knew it, because right in the middle of us all talking, she said, "Shall we talk about sex?" And you know, all 200 women, yeah. I know my audience. I was just at a screening for Stepping Out the other day. Just Shelley and I and my little boy and my manager were in a small screening. We were watching it, you know, my little boy's looking at me, you know. "Mommy, I thought you were starring," he said. I said, "No, honey, I'm co-starring." "You're no starring." I said, "Just starring." So anyway, that's my little boy.
Kind of a mouth
and
on him,
Shelley, did you say a mouse on it? Because I can do a mouse.
A little mouth.
Hello.
A little mouth on it.
You were like Artemisia. So Shelley Winters and I are in the screening room, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the movie, you hear this: "It's too cold. Shut the air conditioning off. It wasn't a good idea." And she just walked out.
That's very funny.
But I asked Shelley if I could talk about it on here.
Well, tell us a little bit about what this film is that you're Stepping Out.
It's a sweet film. It opens October 4th, and Liza Minnelli is the star of it, and she's a tap instructor, and we all take tap classes. And,
right.
Yeah.
And
so we had to learn how to tap.
And somebody gets murdered.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to guess. What happens? You're taking the tap dancing lessons and...
Do you need more of a plot than that?
No,
and we dance, for God's sakes. You pay your $7 and you have a good time. Yeah, da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Thank you and good night. What more do you want? We're all so jaded. What is wrong with a sweet little tap movie?
Nothing. It would be fine.
Unfortunately, it would be fine, you know, on video one Saturday night, you know, in between. We all had to learn how to tap. We took lessons for weeks, like for I think like 6 weeks we were taking tap classes, and even at the end of the film, we did this number, and we had little sequins on, you know, but you need you need to really have style to dance, and I don't have any style. At the end of the film, although we could all dance, I swear to you, I looked, you know that hippo in Fantasia? And up there, you know, try to dun 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 dun. Oh, stop it. Dun 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 dun. Why did I do that?
I don't know.
Because I'm on your show.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Once again, it's my fault. Sure, thank you. Do we have a do we have a clip of the film? We don't know. We're going to look at the movie.
No, I just plan to dance for the next 3 minutes. Why do we have to see the film?
Let's see. The film opens October 4th, and then it will work its way around the country, I'll bet, eh?
I hope so.
Yeah. And did you have a good summer?
I was in Armenia.
Oh yeah. The name of the film is called Stepping Out.
Stepping Out,
yeah,
yes.
October 4th, and this is Andrea Martin. Andrea, always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you very much. Andrea Martin. that Marv. I think he's damn good, don't you think so? And
Best
Cher,
of the
we
best.
like Cher. We had Marv, Cher, and now we'll bring out another guest. This man is one of the alumni of SCTV, and after making several films, he is back on television with this program we've been talking about tonight, Maniac Mansion. You can see it on Sunday nights on the Family Channel. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joe Flaherty. Joe, are you back there? Hi, Joe. Haven't seen you in a long time. Thank you very much for being here. Yes.
I just want to get this out of the way.
Yeah?
Okay.
Oh! That's right.
Oh!
You...
Get the count out of the way.
You used to be Count Floyd on the SCTV
Yes,
program.
I did. I was Count Floyd on SCTV.
And you were also Guy Caballero, the station
Yes.
manager? Yeah.
Yes.
It's a
Two
great
more
show.
characters that I'm sure Cher never heard of either.
No.
Well, I'll tell you, that woman, she chaps my kilt. She'll come out here, Joe Flaherty, Maniac Mansion, stone, just
That's
a
all
stone
right.
face.
That's all right.
Not even a who's he.
Yeah, but in 20 years, where do you think the two of you will... Oh, never mind. Who else was on that SCTV show? Let's run them down quickly. You, John Candy.
Johnny, yes.
I can't
Rick
remember.
Moranis.
Rick Moranis, of course. Dave Thomas.
Dave Thomas,
Yep.
Catherine O'Hara.
Catherine O'Hara.
Andrea Martin.
Andrea Martin.
Martin Short.
Martin Short.
And myself.
Yeah. And this show is one of those things that will run in perpetuity. And every time I run across an episode of one of these, it's fascinating. It's all great comedy.
Yes, you liked the show even from the very first.
Everybody liked the show.
Yes, you were a big fan.
Yeah. Now, I know this is a stupid question, but is there ever anybody talking about let's get everybody back together and we'll have a kind of a movie with all of the folks in? Oh, Eugene Levy we're leaving out.
Oh, yeah, Eugene.
Yeah,
Yes. Well, he's not doing anything these days.
Screw him.
He hasn't worked in a long time. He's directing films now. Now, you said, a get-together. We tried
like
that
a
once.
movie or something.
We got together for a little while, and, it was that whole thing, who's gonna write it? Who's gonna do this? Who's gonna do that? And, we just kind of threw up our arms.
What the hell is this? Leave that in your dressing room, whatever.
I called up your mother and got some information. That was your potty training. That was
this Maniac Mansion is a very entertaining program. Explain to people the premise and kind of highlight some of the characters in it for us.
Okay, well, it's let's see, it's based on a computer game, George Lucas computer game, which has nothing to do with, not remotely a thing to do with the computer game.
Yeah.
I don't know how it started that way, but anyway, I play Dr. Fred Edison, this somewhat eccentric scientist. We have a mansion over a meteorite that has these mysterious properties that kind of, it has an energy field that can mutate things, basically. So, given that premise, of course, that we can mutate things and...
all hell breaks loose.
Yes.
Yeah. We have some videotape of the show.
Sure.
Do you know what we're going to look at?
This was actually the first show of this season, and I was talking about the different directions the show was going to go in because we weren't happy with the direction it was going in. So this is the way the show was going to look.
Now, are you happy in this direction or not happy in this direction?
No, we bombed in this one, too.
Okay, here it is. Whatever, Maniac Mansion. Watch closely. But now, that's not the show. That's you doing... like Married with Children on the show.
Actually, what we do is we do a lot of parodies on the show. Yeah. We're slipping more and more of those in. Mutations and parodies.
They seem to go hand in hand. Yes. What are we doing now? Oh, I've been told we must do a commercial. Yes. We'll be back here with Joe Flaherty right after this. Are we finished? We must leave the airwaves, ladies and gentlemen. My thanks to Joe Flaherty, Marv Albert, and of course the lovely Cher. Good night, everyone. Paul, the young woman you introduced at the beginning of the program, now You were with us in Chicago, weren't you, a couple of years ago at the big Chicago theater? Yeah, nice to see you. You were with Johnny Cougar then, right? Yes. Johnny Cougar Mellencamp. Johnny Mellencamp. Yeah. Now, do you work with him all the time?
Sometimes.
Does he ever get you down there on his farm there in Indiana? And you have to pretend like you're farming, right? You have to go out and you have to hoe and you have to rake and that kind of stuff. Because he actually thinks that he's a farmer, doesn't he? Rides around checking the wheat in a limo, that kind of thing. Nice to have you here, by the way.
Thank you.
And Richie Sambora will be out later. Yeah.
Feature number with us.
Now, is he still dating Cher? Do we know? Or?
We'd have to ask him that.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. God. You know. I don't care what people say. To me, Cher is one hot lady. Hey, how about that New York snow? Is that ready? Oh, good. Apparently, huh? They are working on it? What does it take to fix the New York snow? Oh, okay, all right. Well, we're always delighted when our first guest spends some time with us here on the program. Martin Short is here, Richie Sambora, and Art Buchwald. According to this, Martin's our first guest. Yeah. That's right. He has a new motion picture opening up now all over the country with Steve Martin entitled Father of the Bride. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to our old and good friend, Mr. Martin Short. Marty.
So I'm backstage.
Yep.
You know, and I'm getting revved, I'm getting pumped.
Yep.
And I've got my arm going, I'm ready for the movement, you know, and suddenly it dawns on me, wrong show.
Uh-huh.
You know, and
that movement doesn't apply here?
I was doing that, and then I froze quickly, and I thought, wait a second. There's something that I know why I'm confused, because you don't have any kind of wacky traditional physical movement. Like, you see, something like this. Wah, wah, wah! If you did this, and then got the audience doing it back. Yeah, yeah, yeah! And then, getting Diane Cannon doing wah, wah!
Yeah.
You know,
all right, well, I
Sybil Thorndike doing,
I appreciate the thought, and I'll work on it in my own home.
Now.
Why are you always sobbing? I love that.
Now, let me just say one thing to you.
Yes, sir? Yes, sir?
You look fantastic. And I looked on the screen at one point, and I said to Frank, and I said, what's Luke Perry hosting the David Letterman show?
Luke Perry?
Yeah. And I don't get, what is it? Have you had a lift, or are you wearing lifts? Is there tape behind those ears?
I have a confession. A couple of weeks ago, we had a week off. I went down to Mexico and had an eye job. But that's it. Other than that.
I knew it. I thought maybe it's just this whole holly-golly Christmas spirit that you're probably in.
Now, let's tell me about your Christmas as a young kid up in Canada. Was it magical for you up there?
It was unbelievable. I'm a Christmas nutball when it comes to Santa Claus. Now, I'm like Gremlin. You know, Egg Gremlin. I'm just, oh, Christmas and the snow is falling. Oh, give me a break. And candy canes. And I'm running around my room and, you know, wrapping things. And I was always like that from very early on.
Well, that's good. That's the way people are supposed to be.
But the main thing I remember as a kid that Christmas taught me was how to do good cheesy acting on Christmas morning. Because every year, my brother Michael and I would sneak the gifts from the attic where my parents thought they'd hidden them. And, like, we'd have a train for 3 weeks in advance. We'd be playing it in the bedroom.
Oh, you bust the stuff open and set it up and play with it.
Set up the train, do it around, so that on Christmas morning, I would have to come down and my parents would say, see, a train. And I'd have to go, oh, no. I said I wasn't going to cry, and I'm not. The hell I'm not.
And you did this when you were about 6 years old?
6 years old, yeah. Hold me. You know, I was 4 weeks. I'd be up there. Oh, isn't gonna do it. I'm feeling pretty good, and the junction. You know, the hat on. We'd wrap it up at night. Yeah. It was from Santa.
That's cute. And what do you? What about you and your kids now for Christmas? How does that go? Is that do you still have kids that believe in Santa Claus?
Yeah, I have 3 children. They're completely obsessed. It's so sweet. You know, I took my daughter Catherine to this store, and we're walking to, and I see her kind of eyeing this Christmas doll with a beautiful dress, and And she's kind of shaking. I said, Catherine, come on, let's go. I didn't know that doll existed. I said, well, that's fine, but we should go. No, but I said, I've written my letter to Santa, and I didn't ask for that doll. Yeah. I asked for roller skates. I said, well, you know, what are you going to do? I want that doll. And I said, well, write him. It's too late. Even Federal Express couldn't get a letter in time. And finally, you know, I said, you wish for it. You wish, you know, and then...
Now, do you think she actually believes Santa has something to do with this, or is she working you a little bit there?
She truthfully believes that it's actually phenomenal. She completely believes on every level, you know.
Yeah, well, that's
I said to her, you know, what I'm going to do, Catherine, will be good. I'll come down with a movie camera. Mm-hmm. And when, you know, Fatty is laying out the gifts, she goes, hey. And I said, when Santa is laying out the gifts, you know, I'll take a movie of him. She says, no, he'll catch you. I said, it's fine. She said, don't blow this for me. He'll find out and he'll disappear.
You're going to get in there and screw up the whole day for her. Well, that would be pretty cute.
No, they love it. It's fabulous.
Let's see. We have a lot of other stuff to talk about. We have the movie.
Yes.
You, Steve Martin in Father of the Bride.
Yes.
And anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, well, anything you want, Dave.
Right,
I'm just here as your buddy.
Let me do this first. Well,
your Christmas
really?
buddy.
That's darn nice of you. Luke Perry and I will be right back, folks, after you watch this. Richie, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was you. I didn't recognize you with the black leather pants. I didn't know it was you over there. Nice to see you. Yeah. And Luke Perry, I had no idea who Luke Perry is.
Yeah.
Either.
We've got to get you a book.
Yeah, I got to get out.
Yeah.
But look here, kids, we have the aerosol snow back. See, this is, if you missed the New York Christmas, you don't understand how this works, don't you?
Oh, sure I do.
All right, here you go. You press it and this is after the guys worked on it.
What is supposed to happen here?
Well, I'm not sure exactly. Well, like, that's not enough? All right, let's try it again. Take that back to R&D, Al, but be careful. All right.
That's good. That's good. You can edit, right? Uh-oh.
That's all right, Al. Go out, work outside. Take it back to your apartment. Bring it in tomorrow.
Yeah.
Where were we? Oh, let's talk about, what do you see, your old friends from SCTV?
I see them all the time. We all live close to each other. I just went to the Grey Cup with John Candy.
It's the Canadian Super Bowl, the Canadian Football League
Canadian
Championship
Super Bowl.
game. Yeah.
Well, the CFL, Canadian Football League.
Yeah.
I call it the real Football League. Some people... And John and Bruce McNow, who owns the LA Kings, and Wayne Gretzky, they also own the Toronto Argonauts.
Right.
And Toronto Argonauts is playing the Calgary Stampeders. Mm-hmm. Well, you can imagine. So, so John said, let's, so we all flew up. My son Oliver, and John and his family, and Bruce and his family, and Wayne and his wife, and there were other Canadians in the plane. We left, LA in the morning and flew to Winnipeg, Manitoba.
What is more fun than a plane full of Canadians?
You can't.
Nothing.
You can't find it. Alan Thicke was there. Giselle McKenzie, Wayne Schuster, Tova Borgnine, Will Hutchins. You'd driven him from Tarzana. It was great. And we all flew. It was 18 below.
Wow.
Yeah, it was freezing. And I watch the CFL all the time. I mean,
the differences are the field is wider.
Well, there's a lot of differences.
The field is wider.
Yeah, and it's
three
long.
downs.
3 downs.
That's
Why
the only
do you
difference.
need 4 downs?
Yeah.
It's 110 yards.
Right.
There are only 8 teams, and 2 are called Rough Riders.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
who are the Rough Riders? There's
the Ottawa Rough Riders and the Saskatchewan Rough Riders. But 8 teams, and they play each other. And what's great is that you can be passing a television set and hear announcers say, "Rough Riders 28, Rough Riders 7," and somehow.
And somehow, we Canadians know. You know, we'll say, gee, it's too bad for the Rough Riders, but then again, I'm glad the Rough Riders are doing well. You know.
Now, why does that happen?
No one really knows. I mean, why does a lot of things happen? Why doesn't that work?
Yeah, but we don't have two teams called the Packers here in this country, you know?
Listen, you're not going to get a big, arm wrestling argument over this from me, because I agree.
Makes no sense.
Well, there's only 8 teams, too.
That's right. Like, they haven't used up all the names they could think of. Anyway, so you're up there for the big championship game.
We went up there with Tova and all the group, and all the Canadians flew up, and it was 18 below. It couldn't have been more freezing. It was just frightening. And we get into the stands. Oliver's just complete. You know, Wayne Gretzky in the plane said, better put your heat packets in your shoes and everything. And I went, right. Keep taping the stick, I thought. Yeah. Meanwhile, I couldn't have been colder. It was frightening. So Oliver was just bundled. He's 5. And he was just so frightening. Just like, he hadn't spoken for a couple hours. And we're walking through the stand. And I found out my tickets had been duplicated. For some reason, the tickets I'd been given, the guy was, I'm sorry, I'm sitting here. Yeah. And so he wasn't going to move. And so finally a guy took pity on the 3rd line. You know, couldn't have been worse seats. Hey, Mr. Short, over here. I got 2 extras. And he sat with me, and then he kept saying stuff like, what was the name of that one film you did I hated? And I, try to... And that was the first quarter, and I looked down at Oliver, and he had just kind of frozen tears in his eyes, so I knew this wasn't... Yeah. So we went into a Winnebago for the rest of the game, and and then a kid put on Home Alone on the cassette, so we never really watched the game. But Toronto won.
But isn't there a team also known as the Winnebagos in that league? Isn't that the name? Are you sure?
There are 2 teams called Winnebago.
I think that's the name of a Canadian team, the Winnebagos. The Hamilton Winnebagos?
No, the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
The Tiger Cats,
I'm from Hamilton, and it's the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They're a really hot team.
Yeah. Let's look at some film here of Father of the Bride.
Father of the Bride, Steve Martin, Diane Keaton.
Great cast.
And Kimberly Williams.
People tell me that you're a standout in this film, that you steal the motion picture.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that's true, but it is directed by Charles Shire and written by Shire and Meyer, and it's a very funny film.
All right, and do you want to tell folks what we're going to look at here?
We are looking at a wedding. I play Frank, the wedding coordinator, who is, at this point, Steve has lost control of the wedding, and his wife and child insist that maybe they hire a wedding coordinator, and he says sure.
Okay, so this is Martin Short, Steve Martin, and everybody else in this scene?
Yeah, and Kimberly Williams.
Yeah, well. Yeah, you get some interesting hair going for you there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you just like a goofball? Is that what you are?
No. I always think that if you start with the hairdo, they won't really notice that you're doing the same character from film to film. So I looked at Al Pacino in Godfather 3 and thought, that's a good dude. Standing tall, dyed black, a little bit of accent.
It looked good to me.
Thank you. Well, the wedding coordinators they're a real, we had, when Nancy and I got married, we had a guy named Trevor who helped. And they don't really do anything, I mean, you're standing there with a knife, and now let's cut the cake. And you say, good. What do you think? I'm going to say, this is good.
Call attention to the obvious.
Yes, now I think we're ready for a photograph, aren't we? And we're all saying, yes, we are.
There you go, sure. And it's thousands and thousands of dollars.
Oh, thousands and thousands.
The film opens up, when the heck is it opening up? Is it
December 20th, Dave.
All right, good enough. Martin, happy holidays. Thank you very much for being here. Martin Short, ladies and gentlemen.